Let's go. Sold Not For Sale podcast. Coach Colin here. We are live, ladies and gentlemen. 100% live. Get in here while you can. Not like I'm going to lock anybody out or something. But, man, I had a chat window before. Now I don't have the chat window. Let's go. Trump's big speech. What on earth is this? Man, that's why I never have my phone with me. All right, let's get into it. There's no one here right now, but we have to push on as if there is a packed arena of people. So let's just jump right into it. People are in the chat. They'll populate soon enough. Let's just start here, I guess. You know, Charlie Kirk. How many minutes we got? How many minutes we got until the White House? We got 36 minutes. All right, let's dig in. Charlie Kirk announcing some big news here. Let's just jump over here quick. All right, let's go. Trump is in. Let's go. Legs go. What's going on? You're the first one here. You win the first award. Congratulations. Congratulations. I can't pin you up or anything, but you're the first one here. Now, let's just jump right into it. And bro, this is just an episode for me and you, I guess. All right, so let's just jump right into it. I don't know if you heard, Charlie Kirk just announced something that happened between Trump and Vladimir Putin, which I find really, really interesting. If you don't know, also, just to let you know, Trump's historic speech is happening in about 35 minutes. So I'm just going to go over some stuff until we actually get that speech going. But let's just start here with what Charlie Kirk said, a phone call between Putin and Trump just did.
Major, massive breaking news. Quote, this is President Trump writing about his phone call. I just had a lengthy and highly productive phone call with President Vladimir Putin of Russia. President Trump writes, we discussed Ukraine, the Middle East, energy, artificial intelligence, the power of the dollar, and various other subjects. This is one of my favorite parts. We both reflected on the great history of our nations and the fact we fought so successfully together in World War II, remembering that Russia lost tens of millions of people and we likewise lost so many. As we both agreed, we want to stop the millions of deaths taking place in the war in Russia-Ukraine. President Putin even used my very strong campaign motto of common sense. We have also agreed to have our respective teams start negotiations immediately, and we'll begin by calling Zelensky of Ukraine to inform him of the conversation, something I'll be doing right now. Your allegiance should always be to your homeland, to your country. But just because the CIA tells you to hate Russia doesn't mean you need to hate Russia. President Trump is thinking outside the box for you, the American citizen, to avoid a senseless nuclear war.
Very interesting stuff, man. I don't know what's going to happen. Russia recently just announced that they have more minerals, more rare earth minerals than Ukraine, that they would be open to American partnerships. Next thing you know, Trump is on the phone with Putin. They're having a long, in-depth conversation. And now they're talking about peace talks, and they're going to call Zelensky. If that isn't F around and find out, I don't know what is. That is just crazy. You decided to act ridiculous in the White House. Has it even been 72 hours yet since it happened? And Trump's already on the phone with Putin. Putin's already talking about earth minerals. Ukraine, buddy. Zelensky is hands down, and this is with me knowing who Justin Trudeau is. He's hands down one of the worst world leaders we have seen today. It is crazy. Daily Wire is interviewing Tom Hellman's live. Tom Hellman's or Tom Homans? Which one? Okay, let's jump over here and check out what you're talking about. Daily Wire. Are they on YouTube or what? Let me know if they're on YouTube. Daily Wire. I haven't went and checked on Daily Wire in a long time. Yeah, I gotta admit. I don't see anything happening here. Oh, yep. Let's see. Oh, it's Homan. Oh, man. Let's go. Let's go. Play this immediately. What's going on?
That doesn't want public safety threats removed from the public. It's in their more responsibilities to community safety. If you don't want to help us, get the hell out of the way. Well, I've warned numerous mayors and governors, don't cross that line. If you impede us, that's a felony. And Pam Bondi, we'll ask Pam Bondi to prosecute. If you harbor or conceal an illegal alien, knowingly harbor and conceal an illegal alien from ICE, that's a felony. In my career, I've arrested U.S. citizens for harboring and concealing an illegal alien in a workplace or a home. If I can prosecute a U.S. citizen for doing it, why can't we prosecute a politician who does that same thing? So, I think we got a strong AG in Pam Bondi, and if they cross that line, we should prosecute and make an example out of them.
To your point earlier, sir, it's perfectly reasonable, perfectly understandable why someone living south of our border in particular would want to get to the greatest country in the history of the world. It's a no-brainer. When you add further incentives through all of our government programs, all the handouts, the open invitations that Joe Biden and his administration were putting out to people to come to the country, you can't be surprised when they do. At the same time, the idea that American politicians would engage in harboring those people, it seems to me, it's very easy to throw around words like treason in political discussion. But when you're actually using your position as an elected representative of the American people to help criminal aliens in the country at the expense of your own constituents, how is that not a treasonous offense? When Joe Biden shuts down the Remain in Mexico program and says, no, instead, we're going to bring millions of people into the country who don't need to be here. We already have a solution. The first Trump administration implemented the solution. We're going to remove the solution. How is that not treasonous?
Look, I think a lot of what they did is treasonous. Take, for example, the Gotaways, right? They overwhelmed the Border Patrol where many nights, 70% of agents were pulled off the line to make sandwiches, change diapers, make baby formula, make hospital runs, dealing with this humanitarian crisis they created on purpose.
Yeah.
And the Border Patrol is overwhelmed. So you got 30% of Border Patrol agents left on the line. Then the criminal cartels will send a group of 100 family units in one area, knowing that 30% are going to seize that opportunity to deal with a humanitarian crisis there, which the cartels create gaps. So you got 2.2 million known gotaways. You got to ask yourself, why did 2 million plus people pay more to get away? Because you pay the cartels one amount of money to get to the border. The cartel's job ends when you get to the border because you turn yourself in a green uniform. You get released within 24 hours. You get a free airline ticket to the city of your choice. You get put in a free hotel room. You get 3 meals a day and free medical care. After about 3 months, you get work authorization, the very reason they came here. So why did 2 million people pay more not to take advantage of that giveaway program? Why did they pay more to get away? Because they didn't want to be vetted. They didn't want to be fingerprinted. These are going to be people who are trafficking in women and children. They're going to be ones carrying the fentanyl. And they're going to be ones coming from a country sponsoring terror. Now, under Trump in 4 years, we arrested a total of 14 people on terrorist watch lists. 14 in 4 years. This Biden administration had 14 in a day. They were up over 400. So the question is, Border Patrol has arrested people from 181 different countries. Many of these countries are sponsored with terror. They've arrested over 400. How many of that 2.2 million came from countries sponsoring terror? If you think it's zero, you're a moron. So this is the biggest national security vulnerability I've seen in my lifetime. Even FBI Director Wray, who I don't like, even he agreed this is the biggest national security vulnerability he's seen, a lot of red flags. What they did when they purposely opened this border up is create the biggest national security vulnerability this nation's ever seen. And we know there's people here that want to do us harm. We know national security threats enter this country. We're monitoring some we don't know where they are. So when you use the word treasonous, I agree with you, because they, on purpose, created this open border, which resulted in a significant national security concern, national security vulnerability. We all know something's coming. The intelligence community believes something's going to be coming. And thank God we got President Trump in the Oval Office to deal with it when it happens.
Yeah, and when you talk about this, it's very clear that the Biden administration, it was an act of will for them to leave the border this way. I was talking to you before we were on air. I was actually down at the border in Arizona. There's a Native American reservation right along the border. There's no fencing there because the Native American reservation doesn't want there to be fencing there. And so basically it's wide open. And the Biden administration, I was told by Border Patrol, had assigned them to process people as a number one priority. The drug cartels would essentially drive up with a truck filled with people. They would unload them at the border. There was actually a button they could hit at the border that would call Border Patrol to them. Border Patrol would then have to take them for processing, and that would leave the rest of the border completely wide open for the predations of the drug cartels. I think one part of the story that hasn't been told here is just how much the Biden administration enriched the drug cartels. The drug cartels made literally billions of dollars off of human and trafficking and drug smuggling during the course of the Biden administration.
No one celebrated that election more than the criminal cartels. They knew they were back in business. The reason there's so much violence in Mexico right now because the cartels are making more money they've ever made in sex trafficking women and children, alien smuggling, and the smuggling of narcotics.
I have to cut in, man. I just did an episode about a big operation that was just caught. They were taking people from Guatemala into Arizona. They had done at least 20,000. But the thing about it is when you hear that number, massive number, right? Charging 18,000 a head, 20,000. They had been in business for 12 years, which means I'd be surprised if they didn't hit 1 million, which is just crazy. Were they charging 18,000 the whole time? Was it low at first, and then when they got good at it, did they up the number? But that's an episode that I'll probably be releasing, I don't know, probably tomorrow or something like that. But it was a huge operation that got caught, like surprisingly huge. And what they said was it was one of the largest, which means that it wasn't even the largest and that there's more still happening. So just imagine that. That one was in business for 12 years. What about all the other ones? How long have they been in business? And they're still actively doing it. And then again, 18, I think to $15,000 a head per person. Wild. And if they didn't have the money, they were held captive in places like LA, other sanctuary cities where they could get away with that type of thing. Wild stuff.
Now, there's a lot of discontent in Mexico because President Trump is taking billions of dollars out of their pockets when he secures that border. So I think we're going to see more violence on the border. I don't think they're going to go away quietly. I think President Trump did the right thing designating them terrorist organizations because these cartels have killed more Americans than every terrorist organization in the world combined. But what they did to the border was on purpose. I agree 100%. And here's why I know it's on purpose. We never talk about this. Let me just mention this. When Barack Obama was president, Joe Biden was vice president, Secretary Mayorkas was a deputy secretary. We had a surge of family groups coming across the border. How did we stop it? We built family residential centers. We held them long enough to see a judge. 91% lost their case. We put them in an airplane, send them home, and the border numbers dumped. So Mayorkas knows how we fixed it, and Biden knows how we fixed it. So what they do when he becomes president, Mayorkas becomes secretary, they don't detain him. They don't make him see a judge. They don't deport him. They did exactly the opposite of what proved worked when he was vice president and Secretary Mayorkas was deputy secretary. So this wasn't an accident. They did the exact opposite of what they knew we succeeded with when President Obama was in office. So this wasn't, again, this was by design. They knew exactly what they were doing. And the reason they didn't detain them is because when an alien's in detention, they get a hearing within 40 days at top, which means in 40 days, that 91% be ordered removed and they go home. That's not what they wanted. So they release them to NGOs, put them in a hotel room, because once you're out of ICE custody, it's called the non-detained docket. Non-detained docket takes anywhere from 3 years to 9 years, depending on what city you're in.
Wow.
And they knew in that 3 to 9 years, they'll get 1 or 2 U.S. citizen kids, they'll get equities here, and hopefully a Democratic Congress and Democratic president that will reward them an amnesty. This is why they didn't detain him. They don't want him removed, so they figure they put him on the non-custody docket with the immigration court. Their cases are so far down the road that there'll be a change in administration and they can award him an amnesty. That's exactly what was their plan, and thank God we changed that in November and got President
Mr.
Trump.
Holman, you mentioned just now that...
Man, This is wild. So it's 15 minutes until Trump gives his historical speech. I had some things I wanted to go through. I think this was another one, just speaking about Trump as they were. CNN is letting the cat out of the bag. CNN can't deny it anymore. Listen to this.
So I think the easiest way we can kind of just ask this is, do Americans like the way that Trump's handling his job and compare it to how they felt about Joe Biden? So this is the net approval rating. You look at Joe Biden back in 2024, he was 22 points underwater. Holy cow. You look at Donald Trump, it's just a different planet entirely. I mean, the gulf between these two is wider than the Gulf of America or Mexico, depending on which side of the aisle you stand on. He's at +2. So look, at this particular point, Americans are giving Donald Trump the benefit of the doubt. He's doing considerably better than Joe Biden was doing on the handling of the Russia-Ukraine conflict. And so on this simple question, I think Americans are saying, okay, Donald Trump's doing all right on this.
What about specifically on how they feel about bringing the war to an end?
Yeah, okay. So, look, questions on this can be quite complicated, but I think this kind of gets at sort of where the American trend line is. Americans on the Russia-Ukraine war want a quicker end of the war, but Russia keeps its captured land. Look at this, 50%. Bare majority coming in here. Support Ukraine's right to fight, even if it means a longer war. That's at 48. This is very, very close. But the trend line on this question is so important because that want a quick end of the war, look at this. You go back to August of 2022, it was at 31%. Now we're at 50%. I mean, that is a rocket ship upwards in terms of the Americans who want a quick end to the war, even if it means Russia keeps the captured Ukraine land. Americans are moving closer and closer to wanting a compromise, even if it means that Ukraine doesn't really get what it set out to want, at least at the beginning of this war.
It's very interesting that CNN has chosen to do this. They have this guy. I don't know what his name is. I should get this guy's name. But they have him.
Well, I think
he comes on and he just uses his numbers as that's it. He's just going by numbers, no opinions. And then they have Scott Jennings, who's been in on the woke panels that they have as the voice of reason. And I'm surprised that CNN's doing this. If they just add like 5 more of those people, they could really have something going. I mean, they keep on saying things that are just blatantly untrue. But with these two guys, they're really starting to pan something out. I don't know what's going on with CNN. I think CNN is the only one that's kind of woken up and said, okay, the doors are going to close soon if we don't get things in hand. MSNBC, they seem to be fine. ABC, they seem to be fine because of all the television programming. But CNN actually understands that this is what they do and that they will go under if they keep on just only showing one side and blatantly lying because they've just made up things that are lies. So very interesting stuff. I don't know what's going to happen to CNN. Maybe they wake up. Maybe they wake up just enough. They go under. Then I buy them. If you guys don't know, I'm going to buy CNN eventually. I mean, soon it's going to be worth $10,000. I'm going to take a loan from a couple of friends. And we're going to buy CNN. Someone actually said I could crowdfund it. I'm down. Whoever's willing. Throw $1 at me, okay? You're willing to throw $1 at me for my CNN fund, let me know. First act. I come in like Trump. And Elon. Chainsaw, I get rid of everything. I get rid of everyone. I just start hiring YouTubers. I just start hiring Officer Tatum, conservative black perspective, LFR family. I just start hiring them. I hire Candace Owens. I have to. I let her go nuts. I get Alex. You gotta go get Alex. I get the Wild Boys. You have to. What can I do? And I just start hiring YouTubers like Asmon Gold, no problem. I go after Penguin Zero. I get streamers. I get everybody, and I just fill it with that. Even Destiny. I go offer Destiny some money. Destiny, come on. How much is it going to take? And at the end of every week, there's 4 topics that happen during a week, and you have the entire news company. All the names, they all debate about it. The left and the right. We go get some left people. We go get some right people. Hire Joy Reid. Done. Get in here, Joy. Come on. You get her in here. And the left battles the right. And they just have a debate about everything. And then they all have to shake hands after to show the public that Joy Reid versus Destiny debate. I don't know. I think there's a lot they agree on, but I think there's a lot they disagree on too. So yeah, that would be a crazy debate. They'd be going nuts. Destiny would go nuts over battling Joy Reid. Joy Reid would just be sitting there smiling because she's like, I'm just gonna say a bunch of things that aren't true, and Destiny would be like, I'm just gonna Google a bunch of things that aren't true. It would be hard, that battle, but that's what I would have, and I'd have them all shake hands after, so you show the public that you can be on the left or the right and you can still get along as people. You can still work together. That's what I would be pushing very, very hard. And then I just say, listen, Joe, I go right to Rogan. How much would it cost? How much do you need? That's all. I just let him know. How much do you need? And I do a joint venture with Joe Rogan, Elon Musk, and we figure something out. I know I could do it. I know I could. 100%. Somebody just give me a chance. I'm sure one of you guys out there have a link to buying CNN. Help me out here, guys. But anyway, let's move on here. How much time do we have? Let's see over here. We got 16 minutes. The Daily Wire one's a little lower, probably because Ben has to get up and get out of there and everything. Again, yeah. So it's 16 minutes. 16 minutes until Trump takes the stage. Let's look at this a little bit. Apparently there was a boycott Tesla. I don't know why people are doing this, man. Now here's the thing. I didn't want to talk about it before. Somebody mentioned it. It has been on my mind. How many of these people are legit? How many of these protesters are legit? We already know Soros goes out of his way to finance certain things and have people. We already know Kamala Harris, was bussing people in. People even reported seeing on actor websites that they were hiring for certain events, but they wouldn't tell people what it was for. People speculated that it was for her rallies. Again, nothing solidified. No one came forth and said, I'm here getting paid. None of that happened. But you do have to think, are these people legit? Are these people actually legit? Let's watch a little bit of this.
We're boycotting Tesla. I sold my Tesla. I traded it in for a Subaru, actually.
Shut up, Elon! Go home, Elon!
When you already have 300 billion, why do you need more?
Wake up! Fight back!
I have friends who are undocumented.
As a queer person, I've been affected by this. Elon is the biggest clown there is, so I decided to dress up as a clown today.
Elon Musk gonna make Cuba the 51st state.
Tech bro, you're gonna go.
The 51st state, man.
He tweets 200 times a day. The man is on ketamine and he's not well.
These two people are in bed together. They're doing it to everybody, not just to each other. They're doing it to everybody. We're all part of this. It's horrible.
They're gonna kill us.
You see what I mean? What person finds that picture, that AI picture of Elon and Trump, and looks at it and says, yep, I'm 40 and I'm taking this sign outside today to go stand in front of a Tesla dealership? Who does that? Who? It's crazy, man.
Us first, but you're next.
Fire Elon Musk and send him to Mars, where he belongs.
What's up, everybody? We're back with a new Channel 5 breaking news special. As many of you guys know, the Trump administration has kicked things off into high gear, issuing 73 executive orders in the first month of the new presidency.
Very important executive orders.
Some of the executive orders are not that controversial, like creating a task force to disrupt the synthetic opioid supply chain in China, a declassification of the FBI files on the assassinations of JFK and MLK, and limiting the federal government's ability to pressure social media companies into censoring their users.
It really is a slippery slope.
However, many of these executive orders are extremely polarizing and range from mass deportation orders to bans on paper straws to restoring the death penalty to preventing children from medically transitioning genders.
There are only two genders, male and female.
Based president. Let's move on. I want to see the actual protests, though. Although this is a great channel. I don't know if you guys know about this channel, right? Like, that's what it looks like. Oh, it's not even showing the full thing. Channel 5, I believe his name's Andrew Callahan. I might be getting that wrong, but he has a solid channel. Solid channel exposing just the nonsense of the world.
elected him. He's not qualified. He's a racist.
We covered one last week in New York City, and by coup, they seem to be suggesting that by defunding federal agencies, shrinking the government, and appointing Trump loyalists to powerful positions, Trump and Elon are attempting to seize absolute power over the U.S. and create an autocracy.
It's a bloodless coup, so nobody thinks there's a coup going on.
He wants to be a king. People don't get it.
Yeah.
He wants to be a king.
He's acting like a king or wannabe dictator. I think it's pathetic.
We have a government where powers are supposed to be separated between equal branches.
Our democracy is being eroded from the inside by people who were not elected to be there.
Because what they're trying to create is an autocracy.
It's important to note that the unelected buzzword the protesters have attached to Elon is a shaky argument. Not only does the Constitution empower the president to appoint federal officials and cabinet members without a public vote, but Trump also campaigned with the explicit intention of appointing Elon to the head of Doge.
Take over, Elon. Just take over.
So those who voted for Trump, which is a majority of voters, also effectively voted for Elon. Anyways, while I was in New York City covering the Stop the Coup rally, there were similar protests breaking out on the West Coast. So I sent 2 correspondents into the field to check the temperature.
80-year-old women.
I just see to that point of what this guy just said. He said there was other protests breaking out in other places at the same time. You see what I mean? Like, that just seems so, I don't know. And again, it's the same type of thing where people are showing up, they're yelling and screaming, they have ridiculous signs, they're all in unison, and it's just, I don't know, man. Like I just saw Elizabeth Warren. I covered this the other week. Elizabeth Warren, she's walking to her car or she's walking into a building or something like that, and there's an independent journalist trying to ask her questions, and there's protesters with masks on running up to the protester and shoving signs in his face, elbowing him, moving him aside. It's like, why would a protester want to protect Elizabeth Warren? You know, how did the Democrats assemble such a big crowd of people in front of USAID or in front of the Department of Education just at the drop of a hat? How'd they do that so quickly? I know they have the ears of the public a lot of the time. You know, you can't say that they don't. They're politicians. They have to. Actually, they don't really have to talk to the people, but I'm sure they do. I'm being charitable. But it just seems so, I don't know, man. I don't know.
And dressed as butterflies on traffic medians? Yeah. And these chants aren't good.
In the city of Glendale, which is near Los Angeles, we had our friend Matt in the field.
What's up? We're here in Glendale, the Americana.
And at the Tesla showroom in Palo Alto, California, which is regarded to be the center of the Silicon Valley ecosystem, we have my homie Albie from San Francisco at a physical boycott of the Tesla showroom.
What's up, guys? My name's Albie. I'm Andrew's homie from Frisco, but I'm here at the Tesla showroom in Palo Alto.
There's a protest going on, protesting Elon Musk, Doge, Tesla.
Everybody's out here protesting Elon Musk, and yeah, so Channel 5 News.
Let's see what people think.
We are going to resist, and we're going to resist together, because nobody can tolerate this.
We will not tolerate a deporter-in-chief.
Enough was enough with the Sieg Heil, the heartfelt autistic salute. So 4 weeks ago, just me and a friend stood outside the service center in Burbank, and the next day there was 4 of us. Last week, we came here and there was 30, and then this week it's just exploding here and across the country. There was like almost 100 here today, and they're all everywhere.
Tesla burns to a this now viral video of a charred Model 3.
And it's just growing, and Tesla stock is rapidly declining.
New numbers from Tesla show its annual EV sales declined for the first time in more than a decade.
The stock is crashing at the moment. You're watching it live. On the month, you're down at what, 23%? On the day, I think it's like 7 or 8% down. Oh, geez, now 8%, approaching 9% down.
The organizers of the
You know, seeing that chart just now, it's really hard to argue that Elon's doing this for the money. You know, it becomes the same thing that we saw with Trump, where it's, oh, he's in it for himself. He's taking all the money. And then look what's happening to his stock. Look what's happening to his image. Look what's happening with the death threats on Reddit and all these different places. You know, you can't keep making this argument. And again, I don't know what rational person tries to make this argument, but I know it does happen. I know it does happen because I won't say who, but one younger person, their father was saying something about Elon being a Nazi or something like that. And like, I know them. I'm close to these people. And I was like, wow. I'm like, that's really happening, huh? As for the Trump speech, it has not started yet from what I can see. I have it here. I didn't want to do ABC or anything like that because I have a feeling that they are going to cut out at certain parts.
Special government.
Okay, so they got a little bit going on. Let's see some stuff going on here. Here, I'm just gonna play a little minute of
Glendale
this.
boycott rally say it's more than just about Elon's political affiliation, and that Doge aside, he's genuinely mentally unfit to be running billion-dollar publicly traded companies.
This guy supposedly runs the boring company, Tesla, SpaceX, Starlink, and he's tweeting 200 times a day and never sleeping and taking ketamine. He's just been radicalized. His politics have clearly shifted, and we've seen it happen with all our friends and loved ones. They go down the dark side, they go on QAnon, down the internet rabbit hole, and something just happens to them, and it's usually white dudes. Thank you. It's usually some white.
It's usually white dudes. I think we've heard enough from him. Let's jump over. I said I don't want to hear from ABC, but they got something
We were
going
trying to see for President Trump, his first presidential address to Congress of his second term. And tonight we're in Washington with the economy front and center.
We may have short-term a little pain, and people understand that. But long-term,
Let me know if you see the speech happening anywhere, guys. Let me know.
Tariffs with our allies have many warning the price of everyday staples will go up in just a matter of days.
Don't worry, Blue, you're not
Look
late.
back at Trump's 44 days in office, from the economy to foreign policy.
You're either going to make a deal or we're out. And if we're out, you'll fight it out. If somebody doesn't want to make a deal, I think that person won't be around very long.
And the richest man in the world, Trump's side through it all. Elon Musk's controversial plan to reshape our federal government.
Is this what you voted for? Is this what you really want? Some unelected bajillionaire coming in and deciding to cut things he had never heard of until yesterday.
Tonight, fired federal workers will be in the hall. Musk may even have to cross paths with them. We're standing by to hear from lawmakers on both sides. And we have the best team in the business right here. A special edition of Witness News Live Pod starts right now.
Let's go. All right, we are here. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get started. The First Lady.
Mr. Speaker, the President's Cabinet.
Just so you know, I heard reports that the Democrats are going to try and do things. Apparently, Maxine Waters and Jasmine Crockett, people are saying they might throw things. I doubt it's going to get to that. I think they're just going to cause a disruption, maybe yell things, call him a liar, etc., etc. But apparently, there's a bunch of Democrats who have some kind of protest that they want to do because this is a historical speech. And they want it disrupted. They want it smeared, as they usually do. RFK in the building. Look at them, just 70, just jacked. I can't wait. I can't wait till I'm 70 and jacked, you know? That's I'm gonna work out in jeans just like him. No problem. Everybody wants to talk to a Kennedy now. They didn't want to talk to a Kennedy before. How about that? That's how that works. Pete Hegseth doing a great job. Absolutely great job. Pete Hegseth coming in. Love to see it. Adam Schiff just sitting there right behind Pete. I don't know if you saw that. That was Adam Schiff just sitting there, just looking upset. Look at Pete, man. Little American flag handkerchief. We the People tattoo. I'm thinking of getting the We the People tattoo. Kristi Noem, smoke show. Let's be respectful here, guys. But smoke show. Just be respectful. But smoke show. She's stepping into the whole thing. A bunch of people. And then the president's going to come out. Can't wait to hear this speech. Trump did say it was going to be big. I don't know if you guys heard. Nate Diaz is going to throw monster cans everywhere. McGregor will be throwing shamrock into the crowd. Yeah, wherever they are, I'm sure they're going to be doing that for sure. I don't doubt it for a second. But yeah, there's a lot going on here. This is a very historical speech. Someone said Michigan here. What up, Michigan? What up, Texas? Oh, man. I can't wait. Trump said it was going to be big. He said he's going to tell it how it is. That's what he put in a Truth Social post. He said, tomorrow is going to be big. I will tell it how it is. Don't know what that means. Let's hear the audio. JD Vance, cool as a cucumber. JD's wife there, Usha, I believe her name is. Man, Trump is going to come in and there is going to be a mixed reaction. I will tell you what, it's going to be a very mixed reaction here, guys. Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson there. Beautiful to see, you know, not the biggest fan of Speaker of the House Mike Johnson, but definitely better seeing him sitting there than Nancy Pelosi. You remember all the way back when Nancy Pelosi sitting there ripping up speeches, doing all sorts of nonsense. You know, great not to see Mike Pence there because, you know, that was just a terrible decision in my opinion. Great to see JD Vance sitting there, standing right now, but yeah, this whole thing is gonna get pretty intense. I don't know what they're gonna do. And also Jasmine Crockett, I think it was Jasmine Crockett, she was encouraging Hakeem Jeffries not to show up. She was saying, do not show up, do not show up, do not show up. She was yelling it at him, you know, via, you know, a broadcast. She was on some show saying, please don't show up. Let's just type in Dems Trump speech. There it is. Perfect. People already know. People have been searching this. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff here. I'm going to pull up a clip. People are watching it live. Actually, I should just pull up Jasmine Crockett. I'm telling you, man, you know why I love Jasmine Crockett? Because Jasmine Crockett, like I do stand-up comedy. Sometimes you got to go to an open mic and you just see the worst people and you're just like, oh, if they're doing it, I can do it 100%. And you see them go at it and you're just like, oh, I could do this. And that's what Jasmine Crockett should be for most of you. You should just understand. You should see her and just understand that you could do this as well. So there's Jasmine Crockett and Maxine Waters. If you put them face to face, Jasmine can look right into her future, where she'll be. Jasmine Crockett and Maxine Waters are reportedly masterminds behind a coordinated plan to disrupt Trump's address to Congress tonight. A source close to Crockett's office says to expect multiple outbursts from the Texas Congresswoman during the speech. I refuse to believe this is the best Texas has to offer. I refuse to believe. No. I have met better people at the Heb. I've met better people at Heb just walking around than Jasmine Crockett. As she feels retribution is necessary for Marjorie Taylor Greene's interruption of Biden's speech, during which Nancy Pelosi yelled out to Biden to say Laken Riley's name. Well, that was kind of necessary, and of course I'm biased. I can admit that, but it's kind of necessary in the sense that Biden didn't know her name because he couldn't think back then. You know what I mean, guys? So he kind of needed to be pushed to say her name. I can't find anything else on the disruptions, but we've just been hearing periodically that there's going to be some kind of disruptions. I wish I had time. I wanted to go over Gavin Newsom's very cringe podcast. Apparently there is a terribly cringe. We didn't approve of her, coach. Yeah, I know. There's no way. I'm telling you, man, the reason that I say that regular people should try running for Congress, they should go at it, is because if 1,000 of you did it, it would flood the system so much that eventually there would be a Trump-like character where even if they have their little puppet that they're pumping money into, this dude, whoever it is, it'll be a landscaper, it'll be an electrician, it'll be some regular guy. He will be so undeniable, so relatable to people that they will just say, okay, let's get that guy in. And their little puppet scheme won't work, because that's obviously what's been going on. Let's see what this is.
To the issues, including cost of living, Social Security, and Medicaid. She, as you see on your screen there, was a U.S. representative in Michigan for 6 years. She just won out and won her Senate seat from, she beat out Mike Rogers in this past election cycle. She's a former CIA analyst and Defense Department official. She was born in New York, and raised in Holly, Michigan. She was called to service, by the way, from the terrorist attacks on September 11th. On Slotkin's second day of graduate school in New York City, it drove her career toward national security, and now she will be delivering the Democratic rebuttal, Andrew, to tonight's speech.
Yeah, that's right. Just getting to the Senate. She's only been there a couple of months. Remember the outgoing retiring Senator, Debbie Stabenow. That was her seat. Slotkin beat Rogers for it. Remember, there's going to be an open Senate seat in Michigan in 2026 as well, Austin. And we'll see if Rogers takes another crack at it there with outgoing Senator Gary Peters. In the meantime here, you're still watching the House floor. We are waiting for President Trump's arrival into the chamber. Everyone seems to be set in place
the
now.
President
You're about
of the
to
United
listen to the
States.
sergeant at arms there, and here we go.
Mr. Speaker, the President of the United States.
No audible boos. I thought they would take the time to try and boo him audibly, but they have not done it. That's amazing. That's good at least. I thought for sure they would be standing up trying to do this or that, but none of that has taken place so far. That's very good to see. We're getting it from two different angles here. Hope you don't mind about that. Donald Trump, ladies and gentlemen, has entered the building. I love it. I love it. This is amazing. I can't wait to see what this speech is all about. What is he going to say? Could you imagine being in that room? Can you imagine? I'm telling you, man. Congressman, I'm telling you, one of you guys could be congressman. Easily you could do it. Nancy Mace, another smoke show. Be respectful. Another smoke show. Just saying. Yeah, I'm just putting it out there. Not trying to be rude, you know. This is the kind of commentary you need on events like this. We got one gentleman wearing a nice suit, trailing behind Trump here. Seems like he's trying to shake hands with everybody who shook hands with Trump. Trying to keep those hands warm. Chuck Schumer looking very upset. Not a smile to be seen on that side of the aisle. Chuck Schumer looking like an evil Disney character. Let's be real. Glasses are too low. Chuck Schumer not getting a handshake from the president. Doesn't deserve one, I can tell you that much. A lot of Democrats looking extra sad right now. They don't like democracy. They don't like democracy. A lot of people happy to see President Trump. Marco Rubio right beside Trump there. Oh my gosh. This is great. I can't wait to see what this speech is. I mean, what's he gonna say? Ever since I went live that one day and he ended up reaming out Zelensky, I'm like, I'm on the website. I'm on the White House website now. I'm like, let me make sure I catch this. Because if right now AOC throws an egg and she gets thrown in jail for years, because that's what happens when you do that to a president, just so you know. I know a lot of people think Trump's just a guy, but he's actually the president, you know? So maybe the Dems mics are cut. I don't know. I don't think their mics are cut because they could just boo audibly into any mic that is working, and some are working, you know? This time around, you know, I remember watching one speech where Trump was talking and none of the generals were moving. Milley, none of them. They really didn't like him because he wasn't about war. They were really upset with him. Trump is just about to take the stage here. Beautiful. Let's go. Let's bring this audio in. USA, let's go.
Speaker Johnson, Vice President Vance, the First Lady of the United States,
Not claiming to be a doctor, not a man. America's back, ladies and gentlemen.
members of the United States Congress, thank you very much. And to my fellow citizens, America is back. 6 weeks ago, I stood beneath the dome of this Capitol and proclaimed the dawn of the golden age of America. From that moment on, it has been nothing but swift and unrelenting action to usher in the greatest and most successful era in the history of our country. We have accomplished more in 43 days than most administrations accomplished in 4 years or 8 years, and we are just getting started. Thank you. I return to this chamber tonight to report that America's momentum is back, our spirit is back, our pride is back, our confidence is back, and the American dream is surging bigger and better than ever before. The American dream is unstoppable, and our country is on the verge of a comeback, the likes of which the world has never witnessed and perhaps will never witness again. Never been anything like it. The presidential election of November 5th was a mandate like has not been seen in many decades. We won all 7 swing states, giving us an electoral college victory of 312 votes.
The other side's completely sitting down. Hilarious.
We won the popular vote by big numbers and won counties in our country.
Oh, there they go. There they go. And they chant USA back. Amazing. Amazing.
And won counties in our country, 2,700 to 525, on a map that reads almost completely red for Republican. Now, for the first time in modern history, more Americans believe that our country is headed in the right direction than the wrong direction. In fact, it's an astonishing record, 27-point swing, the most ever. Likewise, small business optimism saw its single largest one-month gain ever recorded.
Mr. President.
A 41-point jump.
Members are directed to uphold and maintain decorum in the House and to cease any further disruptions. That's your warning. Members are engaging in willful and continuing breach of decorum, and the chair is prepared to direct the Sergeant-at-Arms to restore order to the joint session.
Oh, is that like security? Someone's about to get thrown out. Could you imagine? If someone gets thrown out, I am going to cry laughing. JD Vance is so happy. Just let JD do it. This guy's a Marine. Let him go. Let him go.
Mr. Green, take your seat.
Loosen his tie.
Take your seat, sir.
Ooh.
Take your seat.
Oh.
Finding that members continue to engage in willful and concerted disruption of proper decorum, the chair now directs the Sergeant-at-Arms to restore order. Remove this gentleman from the chamber.
Wow. Oh my gosh, we're barely even into the whole thing. Look at him, get out of here. Look at him, get out of here. Looks like Steven Seagal, you know? Get out. Look, he has a cane.
Members are directed to uphold and maintain decorum in the House. Mr. President, you continue.
Thank you. Over the past 6 weeks, I have signed nearly 100 executive orders and taken more than 400 executive actions, a record to restore common sense, safety, optimism, and wealth all across our wonderful land. The people elected me to do the job, and I'm doing it. In fact, it has been stated by many that the first month of our presidency, it's our presidency, is the most successful in the history of our nation. By many. And what makes it even more impressive is that, do you know who number 2 is? George Washington. How about that? How about that? I don't know about that list, but we'll take it. Within hours of taking the oath of office, I declared a national emergency on our southern border, and I deployed the U.S. military and Border Patrol to repel the invasion of our country. And what a job they've done. As a result, illegal border crossings last month were by far the lowest ever recorded, ever.
That's crazy. Why didn't Biden just do it? Biden could have just done that and had that moniker on him.
They heard my words and they chose not to come. Much easier that way. In comparison, under Joe Biden, the worst president in American history, there were hundreds of thousands of illegal crossings a month, and virtually all of them, including murderers, drug dealers, gang members, and people from mental institutions and insane asylums, were released into our country. Who would want to do that? This is my 5th such speech to Congress. And once again, I look at the Democrats in front of me, and I realize there is absolutely nothing I can say to make them happy or to make them stand or smile or applaud. Nothing I can do. I could find a cure to the most devastating disease, a disease that would wipe out entire nations, or announce the answers to the greatest economy in history, or the stoppage of crime to the lowest levels ever recorded. And these people sitting right here will not clap, will not stand, and certainly will not cheer for these astronomical achievements. They won't do it, no matter what. Five times I've been up here. It's very sad, and it just shouldn't be this way.
Because those are all the things that they want. They want all that destabilization. What do those signs say? I don't even know what those signs say. Oh, Musk steals. Wow. Ridiculous. They want all this. They want the disorder. That's why they won't celebrate it when you
So
fix
Democrats sitting before me, for just this one night, why not join us in celebrating so many incredible wins for America? For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
Hey, help me fix America. They're all like, no, I want my communism. I want my communism. I was promised communism and money. I was promised when we go to communism, I'd be at
Every
the
day my
tippity top.
administration is fighting to deliver the change America needs to bring a future that America deserves, and we're doing it. This is a time for big dreams and bold action. Upon taking office, I imposed an immediate freeze on all federal hiring, a freeze on all new federal regulations, and a freeze on all foreign aid.
Good point. You're paying for those signs that they have. Musk steals. That's taxpayer money right there.
I terminated the ridiculous Green New Scam. I withdrew from the unfair Paris Climate Accord, which was costing us trillions of dollars that other countries were not paying. I withdrew from the corrupt World Health Organization. And I also withdrew from the anti-American UN Human Rights Council. We ended all of Biden's environmental restrictions that were making our country far less safe and totally unaffordable. And importantly, we ended the last administration's insane electric vehicle mandate, saving our auto workers and companies from economic destruction. To unshackle our economy, I have directed that for every one new regulation 10 old regulations must be eliminated, just like I did in my very successful first term. And in that first term, we set records on ending unnecessary rules and regulations like no other president had done before. We ordered all federal workers to return to the office. They will either show up for work in person or be removed from their job.
I can't believe people are mad about that email. You just have to respond and you keep your job.
And we have ended
We're
weaponized
barely
government
doing
where, as an example, a sitting president is allowed to viciously prosecute his political opponent, like me. How did that work out? Not too good. Not too good. And I have stopped all government censorship and brought back free speech in America. It's back. And 2 days ago, I signed an order making English the official language of the United States of America.
Wow. What was it? Was it something else? Probably Spanish or something, right?
I renamed the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America.
He's just staring at it.
And likewise, I renamed, for a great president, William McKinley, Mount McKinley again. Beautiful Alaska. We love Alaska. We've ended the tyranny of so-called diversity, equity, and inclusion policies all across the entire federal government and indeed the private sector and our military. And our country will be woke no longer. We believe that whether you are a doctor, an accountant, a lawyer, or an air traffic controller, you should be hired and promoted based on skill and competence, not race or gender. Very important. You should be hired based on merit. And the Supreme Court, in a brave and very powerful decision, has allowed us to do so. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. We have removed the poison of critical race theory from our public schools, and I signed an order making it the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female.
Whole other side's like, I don't like this one bit. I don't like any of this that I'm hearing. Crazy. Look at them.
I also signed an executive order to ban men from playing in women's sports.
That's a big thing. You gotta leave the girls alone, man.
3 years ago, Peyton McNabb was an all-star high school athlete, one of the best, preparing for a future in college sports. But when her girls' volleyball match was invaded by a male, he smashed the ball so hard in Peyton's face, causing traumatic brain injury, partially paralyzing her right side, and ending her athletic career. It was a shot like she's never seen before. She's never seen anything like it. Peyton is here tonight in the gallery, and Peyton, from now on, schools will kick the men off the girls' team, or they will lose all federal funding.
Good. Let George Soros have to finance those schools. There she is. That's Peyton. How crazy is that? Ball hit her that hard. Oh man. Can you imagine being the dad? Hearing that about your kid? Jeez.
And if you really want to see numbers, just take a look at what happened in the women's boxing, weightlifting, track and field, swimming, or cycling, where a male recently finished a long-distance race 5 hours and 14 minutes ahead of a woman for a new record by 5 hours. Broke the record by 5 hours. It's demeaning for women, and it's very bad for our country. We're not going to put up with it any longer.
Broke the record by 5 hours. And you know he's just drinking a beer with his boys. He's like, bro, I broke it by 5 hours. Yep. I didn't see anybody. I was
What I've just
asleep by the time they
described
got
is only
back.
a small fraction of the common sense revolution that is now, because of us, sweeping the entire world. Common sense has become a common theme, and we will never go back. Never. Never going to let that happen. Among my very highest priorities is to rescue our economy and get dramatic and immediate relief to working families. As you know, we inherited from the last administration an economic catastrophe and an inflation nightmare. Their policies drove up energy prices, pushed up grocery costs, and drove the necessities of life out of reach for millions and millions of Americans. They've never had anything like it. We suffered the worst inflation in 48 years, but perhaps even in the history of our country. They're not sure. As president, I'm fighting every day to reverse this damage and make America affordable again.
The Dems are mad. I want BlackRock to buy all the houses. What's this all about?
Joe Biden especially let the price of eggs get out of control. The egg price is out of control, and we're working hard to get it back down. Secretary, do a good job on that. You inherited a total mess from the previous administration. Do a good job. A major focus of our fight to defeat inflation is rapidly reducing the cost of energy. The previous administration cut the number of new oil and gas leases by 95%, slowed pipeline construction to a halt, and closed more than 100 power plants. We are opening up many of those power plants right now. And frankly, we have never seen anything like it. That's why on my first day in office, I declared a national energy emergency. As you've heard me say many times, we have more liquid gold under our feet than any nation on earth, and by far. And now I fully authorize the most talented team ever assembled to go and get it. It's called Drill, Baby, Drill.
These guys, they're standing up more than church. This is just up and down. Oh, you might as well just stay standing, honestly.
My administration is also working on a gigantic natural gas pipeline in Alaska, among the largest in the world, where Japan, South Korea, and other nations want to be our partner with investments of trillions of dollars each. There's never been anything like that one. It will be truly spectacular. It's all set to go. The permitting is gotten. And later this week, I will also take historic action to dramatically expand production of critical minerals and rare earths here in the USA. To further combat inflation, we will not only be reducing the cost of energy, but will be ending the flagrant waste of taxpayer dollars.
He said wasted taxpayer dollars and looked directly at them.
And to that end, I have created the brand new Department of Government Efficiency, GOG. Perhaps you've heard of it. Perhaps.
Wow, now he's like really trying to get at them. He's like trying to rile them up now. Elon,
which is headed by
let's go.
Elon Musk, who is in the gallery tonight. Thank you, Elon. He's working very hard. He didn't need this. He didn't need this. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Everybody here, even this side, appreciates it, I believe.
See, he's trying to get at
them. They just don't
them.
want to admit that. Just listen to some of the appalling waste we have already identified. $22 billion from HHS to provide free housing and cars for illegal aliens. $45 million for diversity, equity, and inclusion scholarships in Burma. $40 million to improve the social and economic inclusion of sedentary migrants. Nobody knows what that is. $8 million to promote LGBTQI+ in the African nation of Lesotho, which nobody has ever heard of. $60 million for indigenous peoples and Afro-Colombian empowerment in Central America. $60 million. $8 million for making mice transgender. This is real. $32 million for a left-wing propaganda operation in Moldova. $10 million for male circumcision in Mozambique. $20 million for the Arab Sesame Street in the Middle East. It's a program. $20 million for a program. $1.9 billion to recently created Decarbonization of Homes Committee, headed up, and we know she's involved. Just at the last moment, the money was passed over by a woman named Stacey Abrams. Have you ever heard of her?
Wow, for him
a
to mention her.
$3.5 million consulting contract for lavish fish monitoring. $1.5 million for voter confidence in Liberia. $14 million for social cohesion in Mali. $59 million for illegal alien hotel rooms in New York City. He's a real estate developer. He's done very well. $250,000 to increase vegan local climate action innovation in Zambia. $42 million for social and behavior change in Uganda. $14 million for improving public procurement in Serbia. $47 million for improving learning outcomes in Asia. Asia's doing very well with learning. I don't know what we're doing. Should use it ourselves. And $101 million for DEI contracts at the Department of Education, the most ever paid, nothing even like it. Under the Trump administration, all of these scams, and they're far worse, but I didn't think it was appropriate to talk about them. They're so bad. Many more have been found out and exposed and swiftly terminated by a group of very intelligent, mostly young people, headed up by Elon, and we appreciate it. We found hundreds of billions of dollars of fraud.
You think at least they would stand up for that? They're just like, no, I don't like that they're finding all the fraud. That was my Zambia thing. That was my Zambia nest egg.
And we've taken back the money and reduced our debt to fight inflation and other things. Taken back a lot of that money. We got it just in time. This is just the beginning. The Government Accountability Office, a federal government office, has estimated annual fraud of over $500 billion in our nation, and we are working very hard to stop it. We're going to. We're also identifying shocking levels of incompetence and probable fraud in the Social Security program for our seniors, and that our seniors and people that we love rely on. Believe it or not, government databases list 4.7 million Social Security members from people aged 100 to 109 years old. It lists 3.6 million people from ages 110 to 119. I don't know any of them. I know some people that are rather elderly, but not quite that elderly. 3.47 million people from ages 120 to 129. 3.9 million people from ages 130 to 139. 3.5 million people from ages 140 to 149. And money is being paid to many of them, and we're searching right now. In fact, Pam, good luck. Good luck. You're going to find it. But a lot of money is paid out to people because it just keeps getting paid, and nobody does, and it really hurts Social Security and hurts our country. 1.3 million people from ages 150 to 159, and over 130,000 people, according to the Social Security databases, are age over 160 years old. We have a healthier country than I thought, Bobby.
He's in the comedic bag right now.
Including, to finish, 1,039 people between the ages of 220 and 229, one person between the age of 240 and 249, and one person is listed at 360 years of age. More than 100 years. More than 100 years older than our country. But we're going to find out where that money's going, and it's not going to be pretty. By slashing all of the fraud, waste, and theft we can find, we will defeat inflation, bring down mortgage rates, lower car payments and grocery prices, protect our seniors, and put more money in the pockets of American families.
Look, they still won't clap for even that. They're like, huh, this is ridiculous. We spent so much time trying to get money away from these people, and you're putting it back in their hands. You know how long it took to do that?
And today, interest rates took a beautiful drop, big, beautiful drop. It's about time. And in the near future, I want to do what has not been done in 24 years, balance the federal budget. We're going to balance it. With that goal in mind, we have developed in great detail what we are calling the Gold Card, which goes on sale very, very soon. For $5 million, we will allow the most successful job-creating people from all over the world to buy a path to U.S. citizenship. It's like the green card, but better and more sophisticated. And these people will have to pay tax in our country. They won't have to pay tax from where they came. The money that they've made, you wouldn't want to do that, but they have to pay tax, create jobs. They'll also be taking people out of colleges and paying for them so that we can keep them in our country instead of having them being forced out. Number one, at the top school, as an example, being forced out and not being allowed to stay and create tremendous numbers of jobs and great success for a company out there. So while we take out the criminals, killers, traffickers, and child predators who were allowed to enter our country under the open border policy of these people, the Democrats, the Biden administration, the open border insane policies that you've allowed to destroy our country. We will now bring in brilliant, hardworking, job-creating people. They're going to pay a lot of money, and we're going to reduce our debt with that money. Americans have given us a mandate for bold and profound change. For nearly 100 years, the federal bureaucracy has grown until it has crushed our freedoms, ballooned our deficits, and held back America's potential in every possible way. The nation founded by pioneers and risk-takers now drowns under millions and millions of pages of regulations and debt. Approvals that should take 10 days to get instead take 10 years, 15 years, and even 20 years before you're rejected. Meanwhile, we have hundreds of thousands of federal workers who have not been showing up to work. My administration will reclaim power from this unaccountable bureaucracy, and we will restore true democracy to America again. And any federal bureaucrat who resists this change will be removed from office immediately. Because we are draining the swamp. It's very simple. And the days of rule by unelected bureaucrats are over.
Look at Bernie Sanders there.
And the next phase of our plan to deliver the greatest economy in history is for this Congress to pass tax cuts for everybody. They're in there. They're waiting for you to vote. And I'm sure that the people on my right, I don't mean the Republican right, but my right here, I'm sure you're going to vote for those tax cuts, because otherwise I don't believe the people will ever vote you into office. So I'm doing you a big favor by telling you that. But I know this group is going to be voting for the tax. Thank you. It's a very, very big part of our plan. We had tremendous success in our first term with it. A very big part of our plan. We're seeking permanent income tax cuts all across the board. And to get urgently needed relief to Americans hit especially hard by inflation, I'm calling for no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security benefits for our great seniors.
Who's declaring tips? What are you doing? What are you doing? Who's declaring tips? Get your head together. You kidding me?
And I also want to make interest payments on car loans tax deductible, but only if the car is made in America. And by the way, we're going to have growth in the auto industry like nobody's ever seen. Plants are opening up all over the place. Deals are being made. Never seen. That's a combination of the election win and tariffs. It's a beautiful word, isn't it? That, along with our other policies, will allow our auto industry to absolutely boom. It's going to boom. Spoke to the majors today, all three, the top people, and they're so excited. In fact, already numerous car companies have announced that they will be building massive automobile plants in America, with Honda just announcing a new plant in Indiana, one of the largest anywhere in the world.
It's crazy. So divided. They could just celebrate the president. It's okay.
And this has taken place since our great victory on November 5th, a date which will hopefully go down as one of the most important in the history of our country. In addition, as part of our tax cuts, we want to cut taxes on domestic production and all manufacturing. And just as we did before, we will provide 100% expensing. It will be retroactive to January 20th, 2025. And it was one of the main reasons why our tax cuts were so successful in our first term, giving us the most successful economy in the history of our country, first term. We had a great first term. If you don't make your product in America, however, under the Trump administration, you will pay a tariff, and in some cases, a rather large one. Other countries have used tariffs against us for decades, and now it's our turn to start using them against those other countries. On average, the European Union, China, Brazil, India, Mexico, and Canada, have you heard of them? And countless other nations charge us tremendously higher tariffs than we charge them. It's very unfair. India charges us auto tariffs higher than 100%. China's average tariff on our products is twice what we charge them. And South Korea's average tariff is 4 times higher. Think of that, 4 times higher. And we give so much help militarily and in so many other ways to South Korea, but that's what happens. This is happening by friend and foe. This system is not fair to the United States and never was, and so on April 2nd, I wanted to make it April 1st, but I didn't want to be accused of April Fool's Day. That's not, just one day cost us a lot of money. But we're going to do it in April. I'm a very superstitious person. April 2nd, reciprocal tariffs kick in. And whatever they tariff us, other countries, we will tariff them. That's reciprocal, back and forth. Whatever they tax us, we will tax them. If they do non-monetary tariffs to keep us out of their market, then we will do non-monetary barriers to keep them out of our market. There's a lot of that, too. They don't even allow us in their market. We will take in trillions and trillions of dollars and create jobs like we have never seen before. I did it with China, and I did it with others, and the Biden administration couldn't do anything about it because there was so much money they couldn't do anything about it. We have been ripped off for decades by nearly every country on earth, and we will not let that happen any longer. Much has been said over the last 3 months about Mexico and Canada, but we have very large deficits with both of them. But even more importantly, they've allowed fentanyl to come into our country at levels never seen before, killing hundreds of thousands of our citizens and many very young, beautiful people, destroying families. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. They are, in effect, receiving subsidies of hundreds of billions of dollars. We pay subsidies to Canada and to Mexico of hundreds of billions of dollars, and the United States will not be doing that any longer. We're not going to do it any longer.
Crazy.
Thanks to our America First policies we're putting into place, we have had $1.7 trillion of new investment in America in just the past few weeks. The combination of the election and our economic policies that people of SoftBank, one of the most brilliant anywhere in the world, announced a $200 billion investment. OpenAI and Oracle, Larry Ellison, announced $500 billion investment, which they wouldn't have done if Kamala had won. Apple announced $500 billion investment. Tim Cook called me. He said, I cannot spend it fast enough. It's going to be much higher than that, I believe. They'll be building their plants here instead of in China. And just yesterday, Taiwan Semiconductor, the biggest in the world, most powerful in the world, has a tremendous amount, 97% of the market, announced a $165 billion investment to build the most powerful chips on earth right here in the USA. And we're not giving them any money. Your CHIPS Act is a horrible, horrible thing. We give hundreds of billions of dollars, and it doesn't mean a thing. They take our money and they don't spend it. All that meant to them, we're giving them no money. All that was important to them was they didn't want to pay the tariffs, so they came and they're building, and many other companies are coming. We don't have to give them money. We just want to protect our businesses and our people. And they will come because they won't have to pay tariffs if they build in America. So it's very amazing. You should get rid of the CHIP Act, and whatever's left over, Mr. Speaker, you should use it to reduce debt or any other reason you want to. Our new trade policy will also be great for the American farmer. I love the farmer, who will now be selling into our home market, the USA, because nobody is going to be able to compete with you. Because those goods that come in from other countries and companies, they're really in a bad position in so many different ways. They're uninspected. They may be very dirty and disgusting, and they come in and they pour in, and they hurt our American farmers. The tariffs will go on agricultural product coming into America, and our farmers, starting on April 2nd, it may be a little bit of an adjustment period. We had that before when I made the deal with China, $50 billion of purchases, and I said, just bear with me, and they did. They did. Probably have to bear with me again, and this will be even better. That was great. The problem with it was that Biden didn't enforce it. He didn't enforce it. $50 billion of purchases, and we were doing great, but Biden did not enforce it, and it hurt our farmers. But our farmers are going to have a field day right now. So to our farmers, have a lot of fun. I love you too. I love you too. It's all going to happen.
WEF's plan was to get rid of all the farmers so they could control the food.
And I have also imposed a 25% tariff on foreign aluminum, copper, lumber, and steel, because if we don't have, as an example, steel and lots of other things, we don't have a military, and frankly, we just won't have a country very long. Here today is a proud American steelworker, fantastic person from Decatur, Alabama. Jeff Denard has been working at the same steel plant for 27 years in a job that has allowed him to serve as the captain of his local volunteer fire department, raise 7 children with his beautiful wife, Nicole, and over the years provide a loving home for more than 40 foster children. So great, Jeff. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Jeff. Stories like Jeff's remind us that tariffs are not just about protecting American jobs. They're about protecting the soul of our country. Tariffs are about making America rich again and making America great again, and it's happening, and it will happen rather quickly. There'll be a little disturbance, but we're okay with that. It won't be much. No, you're not. Oh. And look where Biden took us. Very low, the lowest we've ever been. Jeff, I want to thank you very much. And I also want to recognize another person who has devoted herself to foster care community. She works so hard on it. A very loving person, our magnificent First Lady of the United States. Melania's work has yielded incredible results, helping prepare our nation's future leaders as they enter the workforce. Our First Lady is joined by two impressive young women, very impressive. Haley Ferguson, who benefited from the First Lady's Fostering the Future initiative and is poised to complete her education and become a teacher, and Elliston Berry, who became a victim of an illicit deepfake image produced by a peer. With Elliston's help, the Senate just passed the Take It Down Act, and this is so important. Thank you very much, John. John Thune, thank you. Stand up, John. Thank you, John. Thank you all very much. Thank you. And thank you to John Thune and the Senate. Great job. To criminalize the publication of such images online is a terrible, terrible thing. And once it passes the House, I look forward to signing that bill into law. Thank you. And I'm going to use that bill for myself, too, if you don't mind. Because nobody gets treated worse than I do online. Nobody. That's great. Thank you very much to the Senate. Thank you. But if we truly care about protecting Americans' children, no step is more crucial than securing America's borders. Over the past 4 years, 21 million people poured into the United States. Many of them were murderers, human traffickers, gang members, and other criminals from the streets of dangerous cities all throughout the world. Because of Joe Biden's insane and very dangerous open border policies, they are now strongly embedded in our country, but we are getting them out and getting them out fast. And I want to thank Tom Homan and Christy. I want to thank you and Paul of Border Patrol. I want to thank you. What a job they've all done, everybody. Border Patrol, ICE, law enforcement in general is incredible. We have to take care of our law enforcement. Have to. Last year, a brilliant 22-year-old nursing student named Laken Riley, the best in her class, admired by everybody, went out for a jog on the campus of the University of Georgia. That morning, Laken was viciously attacked, assaulted, beaten, brutalized, and horrifically murdered. Laken was stolen from us by a savage illegal alien gang member who was arrested while trespassing across Biden's open southern border and then set loose into the United States under the heartless policies of that failed administration. It was indeed a failed administration. He had then been arrested and released in a Democrat-run sanctuary city, a disaster, before ending the life of this beautiful young angel. With us this evening are Laken's beloved mother, Allison, and her sister, Lauren. Last year, I told Laken's grieving parents that we would ensure their daughter would not have died in vain. That's why the very first bill I signed into law as your 47th president mandates the detention of all dangerous criminal aliens who threaten public safety. It's a very strong, powerful act.
Imagine refusing to clap for that and clap for that girl's parents. Just, that's bordering on
It's called the Laken Riley Act. So Allison and Lauren, America will never, ever forget our beautiful Laken Hope Riley. Thank you very much. Since taking office, my administration has launched the most sweeping border and immigration crackdown in American history, and we quickly achieved the lowest numbers of illegal border crossers ever recorded. Thank you. The media and our friends in the Democrat Party kept saying we needed new legislation, we must have legislation to secure the border. But it turned out that all we really needed was a new president.
It must feel good to say that in all of their faces after everything is gone through. It must feel crazy to be able to do that.
Thank you. Joe Biden didn't just open our borders, he flew illegal aliens over them to overwhelm our schools, hospitals, and communities throughout the country. Entire towns like Aurora, Colorado, and Springfield, Ohio, buckled under the weight of the migrant occupation and corruption like nobody's ever seen before. Beautiful towns destroyed. Now, just as I promised in my inaugural address, we are achieving the great liberation of America. But there still is much work to be done. Here tonight is a woman I have gotten to know, Alexis Nungari from Houston. Wonderful woman. Last June, Alexis's 12-year-old daughter, her precious Jocelyn, walked to a nearby convenience store. She was kidnapped, tied up, assaulted for 2 hours under a bridge, and horrifically murdered. Arrested and charged with this heinous crime are 2 illegal alien monsters from Venezuela, released into America by the last administration through their ridiculous open border. The death of this beautiful 12-year-old girl and the agony of her mother and family touched our entire nation greatly. Alexis, I promised that we would always remember your daughter, your magnificent daughter, and earlier tonight, I signed an order keeping my word to you. One thing I have learned about Jocelyn is that she loved animals so much. She loved nature. Across Galveston Bay, from where Jocelyn lived in Houston, you will find a magnificent national wildlife refuge, a pristine, peaceful, 34,000-acre sanctuary for all of God's creatures on the edge of the Gulf of America. Alexis, moments ago, I formally renamed that refuge in loving memory of your beautiful daughter, Jocelyn. So, Mr. Vice President, if you would, may I have the order?
Still upset. It's so crazy. You're allowed to celebrate good things. It just shows how not about America they are, and how they're only about what they want. It's completely un-American.
Thank you very much. All 3 savages charged with Jocelyn and Lakin's murders were members of the Venezuelan prison gang, the toughest gang, they say, in the world, known as Tren de Aragua. 2 weeks ago, I officially designated this gang, along with MS-13 and the bloodthirsty Mexican drug cartels, as foreign terrorist organizations. They are now officially in the same category as ISIS, and that's not good for them. Countless thousands of these terrorists were welcomed into the U.S. by the Biden administration. But now every last one will be rounded up and forcibly removed from our country, or, if they're too dangerous, put in jails, standing trial in this country, because we don't want them to come back ever. With us this evening is a warrior on the front lines of that battle, Border Patrol Agent Roberto Ortiz. Great guy. In January, Roberto and another agent were patrolling by the Rio Grande near an area known as Cartel Island. Doesn't sound too nice to me. When heavily armed gunmen started shooting at them, Roberto saw that his partner was totally exposed, at great danger, and he leapt into action, returning fire and providing crucial seconds for his fellow agent to seek safety, just barely. I have some of the prints of that event, and it was not good. Agent Ortiz, we salute you for your great courage and for your line of fire that you took and for the bravery that you showed. We honor you, and we will always honor you. Thank you, Roberto, very much. Thank you, Roberto. And I actually got to know him on my many calls to the border. He's a great, great gentleman. The territory to the immediate south of our border is now dominated entirely by criminal cartels that murder, rape, torture, and exercise total control. They have total control over a whole nation, posing a grave threat to our national security. The cartels are waging war in America, and it's time for America to wage war on the cartels, which we are doing. Five nights ago, Mexican authorities, because of our tariff policies being imposed on them, think of this, handed over to us 29 of the biggest cartel leaders in their country. That has never happened before. They want to make us happy. First time ever.
That's crazy. I haven't heard about that.
But we need Mexico and Canada to do much more than they've done, and they have to stop the fentanyl and drugs pouring into the USA. They're going to stop it. I have sent Congress a detailed funding request laying out exactly how we will eliminate these threats to protect our homeland and complete the largest deportation operation in American history, larger even than current record holder President Dwight D. Eisenhower, a moderate man, but someone who believed very strongly in borders. Americans expect Congress to send me this funding without delay so I can sign it into law. So, Mr. Speaker, John Thune, both of you, I hope you're going to be able to do that, Mr. Speaker. Thank you. Mr. Leader, thank you. Thank you very much. And let's get it to me. I'll sign it so fast, you won't even believe it.
Speaker of the House got this.
And as we reclaim our sovereignty, we must also bring back law and order to our cities and towns. In recent years, our justice system has been turned upside down by radical left lunatics. Many jurisdictions virtually ceased enforcing the law against dangerous repeat offenders while weaponizing law enforcement against political opponents like me. My administration has acted swiftly and decisively to restore fair, equal, and impartial justice under the constitutional rule of law, starting at the FBI and the DOJ. Pam, good luck. Cash, wherever you may be, good luck. Good luck. Pam Bond, good luck. So important. Going to do a great job. Cash, thank you. Thank you, Cash.
Give us the files, Cash. Come on. I hope Trump says that. Imagine he said that. Where are the
They've already
files?
started very strong. They're going to do a fantastic job. You're going to be very proud of them. We're also once again giving our police officers the support, protection, and respect they so dearly deserve. They have to get it. They have such a hard, dangerous job, but we're going to make it less dangerous. The problem is the bad guys don't respect the law, but they're starting to respect it, and they soon will respect it. This also includes our great fire departments throughout the country. Our firemen and women are unbelievable people, and we'll never forget them. And besides that, they voted for me in record numbers, so I have no choice. One year ago this month, 31-year-old New York police officer Jonathan Diller, unbelievably wonderful person and a great officer, was gunned down at a traffic stop on Long Island. I went to his funeral. The vicious criminal charged with his murder had 21 prior arrests, and they were rough arrests, too. He was a real bad one. The thug in the seat next to him had 14 prior arrests and went by the name of Killer. He was Killer. He killed other people, they say, a lot of them. I attended Officer Diller's service, and when I met his wife and one-year-old son, Ryan, it was very inspirational, actually. His widow's name is Stephanie, and she is here tonight. Stephanie, thank you very much, Stephanie. Thank you very much.
Let me guess. Completely silent. Not even gonna clap for her. It's so crazy. They could care less about any American. They're only about just the things that they want to execute. It's so weird. It's weird.
Stephanie, we're going to make sure that Ryan knows his dad was a true hero, New York's finest, and we're going to get these cold-blooded killers and repeat offenders off our streets, and we're going to do it fast. Got to stop it. They get out with 28 arrests. They push people into subway trains. They hit people over the head, back of the head with baseball bats. We got to get them out of here. I've already signed an executive order requiring a mandatory death penalty for anyone who murders a police officer. And tonight I'm asking Congress to pass that policy into permanent law.
Whoa. That's a serious one. I didn't even hear about that. Whoa.
I'm also asking for a new crime bill getting tough on repeat offenders while enhancing protections for America's police officers so they can do their jobs without fear of their lives being totally destroyed. They don't want to be killed. We're not going to let them be killed. Joining us in the gallery tonight is a young man who truly loves our police. His name is DJ Daniel. He is 13 years old, and he has always dreamed of becoming a police officer.
Wow. That's cute.
But in 2018, DJ was diagnosed with brain cancer. The doctors gave him 5 months at most to live. That was more than 6 years ago.
You see his dad crying beside him. That's a crazy thing to go through. I couldn't imagine that, man. Could not imagine that. Man.
Since that time, DJ and his dad have been on a quest to make his dream come true, and DJ has been sworn in as an honorary law enforcement officer actually a number of times. The police love him, the police departments love him. And tonight, DJ, we're going to do you the biggest honor of them all. I am asking our new Secret Service Director, Sean Curran, to officially make you an agent of the United States Secret Service.
Come on, that's amazing. That's amazing. Come on.
Thank you, DJ. DJ's doctors believe his cancer likely came from a chemical he was exposed to when he was younger. Since 1975, rates of child cancer have increased by more than 40%. Reversing this trend is one of the top priorities for our new presidential commission to make America healthy again, chaired by our new Secretary of Health and Human Services, Robert F. Kennedy, Jr.
Arrest Fauci. Let's go. Get the emails. Let's go.
With the name Kennedy, you would have thought everybody over here would have been cheering. How quickly they forget.
Wow,
Our goal
so
is
true.
to get toxins out of our environment, poisons out of our food supply, and keep our children healthy and strong. As an example, not long ago, and you can't even believe these numbers, 1 in 10,000 children had autism, 1 in 10,000, and now it's 1 in 36. There's something wrong, 1 in 36, think of that. So we're going to find out what it is, and there's nobody better than Bobby and all of the people that are working with you. You have the best to figure out what is going on. Okay, Bobby, good luck. It's a very important job. Thank you. Go get him. Thank you. My administration is also working to protect our children from toxic ideologies in our schools. A few years ago, January Littlejohn and her husband discovered that their daughter's school had secretly socially transitioned their 13-year-old little girl. Teachers and administrators conspired to deceive January and her husband while encouraging her daughter to use a new name and pronouns. They, them pronoun, actually, all without telling January, who is here tonight and is now a courageous advocate against this form of child abuse. January, thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Stories like this are why, shortly after taking office, I signed an executive order banning public schools from indoctrinating our children with transgender ideology. I also signed an order to cut off all taxpayer funding to any institution that engages in the sexual mutilation of our youth.
He's looking right at them as he says that.
And now I want Congress to pass a bill permanently banning and criminalizing sex changes on children and forever ending the lie that any child is trapped in the wrong body. This is a big lie.
Wow. Going hard on the woke right now.
And our message to every child in America is that you are perfect exactly the way God made you.
Wow.
Because we're getting wokeness out of our schools and out of our military, and it's already out, and it's out of our society. We don't want it. Wokeness is trouble. Wokeness is bad. It's gone. It's gone. And we feel so much better for it, don't we? Don't we feel better? Our service members won't be activists and ideologues. They will be fighters and warriors. They will fight for our country. And Pete, congratulations. Secretary of Defense, congratulations. And he's not big into the woke movement, I can tell you. I know him well. I am pleased to report that in January, the U.S. Army had its single best recruiting month in 15 years, and that all armed services are having among the best recruiting results ever in the history of our services. What a difference. And you know, it was just a few months ago where the results were exactly the opposite. We couldn't recruit anywhere. We couldn't recruit. Now we're having the best results just about that we've ever had. What a tremendous turnaround. It's really a beautiful thing to see. People love our country again. It's very simple. They love our country, and they love being in our military again. So it's a great thing, and thank you very much. Great job. Thank you. We're joined tonight by a young man, Jason Hartley, who knows the weight of that call of duty. Jason's father, grandfather, and great-grandfather all wore the uniform. Jason tragically lost his dad, who was also a Los Angeles County Sheriff's deputy when he was just a boy, and now he wants to carry on the family legacy of service. Jason is a senior in high school, a six-letter varsity athlete, a really good athlete, they say, a brilliant student with a 4.46, that's good, GPA. And his greatest dream is to attend the U.S. Military Academy at West Point. And Jason, that's a very big deal getting in. That's a hard one to get into. But I'm pleased to inform you that your application has been accepted. You will soon be joining the Corps of Cadets. Thank you. Jason, you're going to be on the long gray line, Jason. As Commander-in-Chief, my focus is on building the most powerful military of the future. As a first step, I'm asking Congress to fund a state-of-the-art Golden Dome missile defense shield to protect our homeland, all made in the USA.
Israel has an iron dome. Trump wants a gold dome. So gangster. One-ups everybody.
And Ronald Reagan wanted to do it long ago, but the technology just wasn't there, not even close. But now we have the technology. It's incredible, actually. And other places, they have it. Israel has it. Other places have it. And the United States should have it too, right, Tim, right? They should have it too. So I want to thank you. But it's a very, very important. This is a very dangerous world. We should have it. We want to be protected, and we're going to protect our citizens like never before. To boost our defense industrial base, we are also going to resurrect the American shipbuilding industry, including commercial shipbuilding and military shipbuilding. And for that purpose, I am announcing tonight that we will create a new Office of Shipbuilding in the White House and offer special tax incentives to bring this industry home to America where it belongs. We used to make so many ships. We don't make them anymore very much, but we're going to make them very fast, very soon. It will have a huge impact. To further enhance our national security, my administration will be reclaiming the Panama Canal, and we've already started doing it. Just today, a large American company announced they are buying both ports around the Panama Canal and lots of other things having to do with the Panama Canal and a couple of other canals. The Panama Canal was built by Americans for Americans, not for others, but others could use it. But it was built at tremendous cost of American blood and treasure. 38,000 workers died building the Panama Canal. They died of malaria. They died of snake bites and mosquitoes. Not a nice place to work. They paid them very highly to go there, knowing there was a 25% chance that they would die. The most expensive project also that was ever built in our country's history, if you bring it up to modern day costs. It was given away by the Carter administration for $1. But that agreement has been violated very severely. We didn't give it to China. We gave it to Panama, and we're taking it back.
He's not even asking Panama about this. He's just doing it. He's already decided. He's
and
like,
we
it's
have
ours
Marco
again.
Rubio in charge. Good luck, Marco. Now, we know who to blame if anything goes wrong. Marco's been amazing, and he's going to do a great job. Think of it. He got 100 votes. You know, he was approved with actually 99, but the 100th was this gentleman, and I feel very certain. So let's assume he got 100 votes. And I'm either very, very happy about that, or I'm very concerned about it. But he's already proven. I mean, he's a great gentleman. He's respected by everybody, and we appreciate you voting for Marco. He's going to do a fantastic job. Thank you. Thank you. He's doing a great job. Great job. And I also have a message tonight for the incredible people of Greenland. We strongly support your right to determine your own future. And if you choose, we welcome you into the United States of America. We need Greenland for national security and even international security, and we're working with everybody involved to try and get it. But we need it really for international world security, and I think we're going to get it. One way or the other, we're going to get it. We will keep you safe.
Take Greenland.
We will make you rich, and together we will take Greenland to heights like you have never thought possible before. It's a very small population, but very, very large piece of land and very, very important for military security. America is once again standing strong against the forces of radical Islamic terrorism. 3.5 years ago, ISIS terrorists killed 13 American service members and countless others in the Abbey Gate bombing during the disastrous and incompetent withdrawal from Afghanistan. Not that they were withdrawing, it was the way they withdrew. Perhaps the most embarrassing moment in the history of our country. Tonight, I am pleased to announce that we have just apprehended the top terrorist responsible for that atrocity, and he is right now on his way here to face the swift sword of American justice. And I want to thank especially the government of Pakistan for helping arrest this monster. This was a very momentous day for those 13 families who I actually got to know very well, most of them, whose children were murdered, and the many people that were so badly, over 42 people, so badly injured on that fateful day in Afghanistan. What a horrible day. Such incompetence was shown. That when Putin saw what happened, I guess he said, wow, maybe this is my chance. That's how bad it was. Should have never happened. Grossly incompetent people. I spoke to many of the parents and loved ones, and they're all in our hearts tonight. Just spoke to them on the phone. We had a big call. Every one of them called, and everybody was on the line, and they did nothing but cry with happiness. They were very happy, as happy as you can be under those circumstances. Their child, brother, sister, son, daughter was killed for no reason whatsoever. In the Middle East, we're bringing back our hostages from Gaza. In my first term, we achieved one of the most groundbreaking peace agreements in generations, the Abraham Accords. And now we're going to build on that foundation to create a more peaceful and prosperous future for the entire region. A lot of things are happening in the Middle East. People have been talking about that so much lately with everything going on with Ukraine and Russia. But a lot of things are happening in the Middle East. It's a rough neighborhood, actually. I'm also working tirelessly to end the savage conflict in Ukraine. Millions of Ukrainians and Russians have been needlessly killed or wounded in this horrific and brutal conflict with no end in sight. The United States has sent hundreds of billions of dollars to support Ukraine's defense with no security, with no anything. Do you want to keep it going for another 5 years? Yeah, you would say Pocahontas says yes.
Oh my God. Called her Pocahontas. Oh my gosh. That's the thing they clap for. Wow. Ukraine. That's the thing
2,000 people are being killed every single week. More than that. They're Russian young people. They're Ukrainian young people. They're not Americans. But I want it to stop. Meanwhile, Europe has sadly spent more money buying Russian oil and gas than they have spent on defending Ukraine, by far. Think of that. They've spent more buying Russian oil and gas than they have defending. And we've spent perhaps $350 billion, like taking candy from a baby. That's what happened. And they've spent $100 billion. What a difference that is. And we have an ocean separating us, and they don't. But we're getting along very well with them, and lots of good things are happening. Biden has authorized more money in this fight than Europe has spent by billions and billions of dollars. It's hard to believe that they wouldn't have stopped it and said at some point, come on, let's equalize. You got to be equal to us. But that didn't happen. Earlier today, I received an important letter from President Zelensky of Ukraine. The letter reads, Ukraine is ready to come to the negotiating table as soon as possible to bring lasting peace closer. Nobody wants peace more than the Ukrainians, he said. My team and I stand ready to work under President Trump's strong leadership to get a peace that lasts. We do really value how much America has done to help Ukraine maintain its sovereignty and independence. Regarding the agreement on minerals and security, Ukraine is ready to sign it at any time that is convenient for you. I appreciate that he sent this letter, just got it a little while ago. Simultaneously, we've had serious discussions with Russia and have received strong signals that they are ready for peace. Wouldn't that be beautiful? Wouldn't that be beautiful?
Turns out throwing someone out of the White House can do wonders. Wow.
Wouldn't that be beautiful? It's time to stop this madness. It's time to halt the killing. It's time to end this senseless war. If you want to end wars, you have to talk to both sides. Nearly 4 years ago, amid rising tensions, a history teacher named Mark Fogel was detained in Russia and sentenced to 14 years in a penal colony. Rough stuff. The previous administration barely lifted a finger to help him. They knew he was innocent, but they had no idea where to begin. But last summer, I promised his 95-year-old mother, Malphine, that we would bring her boy safely back home. After 22 days in office, I did just that, and they are here tonight. To Mark and his great mom, we are delighted to have you safe and sound and with us. As fate would have it, Mark Fogel was born in a small rural town in Butler, Pennsylvania. Have you heard of it? Where his mother has lived for the past 78 years. I just happened to go there last July 13th for a rally. That was not pleasant. And that is where I met his beautiful mom right before I walked onto that stage. And I told her I would not forget what she said about her son. And I never did I? Never forgot. Less than 10 minutes later, at that same rally, gunfire rang out, and a sick and deranged assassin unloaded 8 bullets from his sniper's perch into a crowd of many thousands of people. My life was saved by a fraction of an inch, but some were not so lucky. Corey Comparator was a firefighter, a veteran, a Christian, a husband, a devoted father, and above all, a protector. When the sound of gunshots pierced the air, it was a horrible sound. Corey knew instantly what it was and what to do. He threw himself on top of his wife and daughters and shielded them from the bullets with his own body. Corey was hit really hard. You know the story from there. He sacrificed his life to save theirs. 2 others, very fine people, were also seriously hit. But thankfully, with the help of 2 great country doctors, we thought they were gone and they were saved. So those doctors had great talent. We're joined by Corey's wife, Helen, who was his high school sweetheart, and their two beloved daughters, Allison and Kaylee. Thank you. To Helen, Allison, and Kaylee, Corey is looking down on his three beautiful ladies right now, and he is cheering you on. He loves you. He is cheering you on. Corey was taken from us much too soon, but his destiny was to leave us all with a shining example of the selfless devotion of a true American patriot. It was love like Corey's that built our country, and it's love like Corey's that is going to make our country more majestic than ever before. I believe that my life was saved that day in Butler for a very good reason. I was saved by God to make America great again. I believe that. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. From the patriots of Lexington and Concord to the heroes of Gettysburg and Normandy, from the warriors who crossed the Delaware to the trailblazers who climbed the Rockies, and from the legends who soared at Kitty Hawk to the astronauts who touched the moon, Americans have always been the people who defied all odds, transcended all dangers, made the most extraordinary sacrifices, and did whatever it took to defend our children, our country, and our freedom. And as we have seen in this chamber tonight, that same strength, faith, love, and spirit is still alive and thriving in the hearts of the American people. Despite the best efforts of those who would try to censor us, silence us, break us, destroy us, Americans are today a proud, free, sovereign, and independent nation that will always be free, and we will fight for it till death. We will never let anything happen to our beloved country, because we are a country of doers, dreamers, fighters, and survivors. Our ancestors crossed a vast ocean, strode into the unknown wilderness, and carved their fortunes from the rock and soil of a perilous and very dangerous frontier. They chased our destiny across a boundless continent. They built the railroads, laid the highways, and graced the world with American marvels like the Empire State Building, the mighty Hoover Dam, and the towering Golden Gate Bridge. They lit the world with electricity, broke free of the force of gravity, fired up the engines of American industry, vanquished the communists, fascists, and Marxists all over the world, and gave us countless modern wonders sculptured out of iron, glass, and steel. We stand on the shoulders of these pioneers who won and built the modern age. These workers who poured their sweat into the skylines of our cities. These warriors who shed their blood on fields of battle and gave everything they had for our rights and for our freedom. Now it is our time to take up the righteous cause of American liberty. And it is our turn to take America's destiny into our own hands and begin the most thrilling days in the history of our country. This will be our greatest era. With God's help, over the next 4 years, we are going to lead this nation even higher, and we are going to forge the freest, most advanced, most dynamic, and most dominant civilization ever to exist on the face of this earth. We are going to create the highest quality of life, build the safest and wealthiest and healthiest and most vital communities anywhere in the world. We are going to conquer the vast frontiers of science, and we are going to lead humanity into space and plant the American flag on the planet Mars and even far beyond. And through it all, we are going to rediscover the unstoppable power of the American spirit. And we are going to renew unlimited promise of the American dream. Every single day, we will stand up and we will fight, fight, fight for the country our citizens believe in and for the country our people deserve. My fellow Americans, get ready for an incredible future, because the golden age of America has only just begun. It will be like nothing that has ever been seen before. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.
They said they were going to walk out. None of them walked out. They said they were going to demonstrate. None of them demonstrated. Speaker of the House got them in line real quick. He was like, throw out that slick back hair person. Throw him out immediately. Let's keep this going. Man. Look at JD Vance. He's just happy to be there. Smile ear to ear. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, from the White House channel. This is what's been going on. Generals shaking his hand. No sign of Milley though. Milley is no longer invited to those type of things. Let's be honest here. Oh, man. Trump getting out of there. Let's see the audio.
Thank you very much. Great job. Thank you. Great honor. Thank you.
All right, there you have it. Andrew Kraft here now in the anchor chair with some of the recap of what we just heard for a little over an hour and 40 minutes. President Trump touching on so many key focal points that you have heard him discuss throughout the last 43 days, including tariffs, including the illegal immigration crisis, including crime, including the wars between Israel and Hamas and Russia and Ukraine, and so many of these issues that we have heard from President Trump and candidate Trump as well. You see him there greeting members of the Supreme Court, members of his
spell out, though, in addition to fentanyl,
senators as
why
well,
he's targeting Canada and Mexico and why he's doing it right now.
The House chamber there. We're going to keep this shot up because we have joining us now my colleague Austin Westfall here in the Live Now newsroom, and our friend there at 24-Site News, Tom LoBianco, who helped us get through the 2024 campaign season here. I'm just going to bring down the audio there on the House floor. I'm going to ask Tom this first. You know, Tom, a lot of these speeches, sometimes they're about, or most times they're about, the theatrics and the showbiz quality and the...
You know, Trump made a unexpected emphasis on the heroes, the everyday heroes, the kid, the mothers, the girl who was hit with the volleyball from some dude, just, you know, saying that he's a lady. You know, find it very interesting that he put such a spotlight on all those people. I mean, that was a good portion of his talk was about those people. which I found very surprising. So, very interesting stuff. Let me see if they're getting Trump's audio here.
You know, remains to be seen.
No, they're not getting Trump's audio. I would love to hear what he's saying to all these people. Amazing. But yeah, I put a pretty big emphasis on those people, as you should. But honestly, I didn't expect it. I thought it would just mostly be him talking and him talking about the things that they've accomplished and everything, which it was. But I just didn't expect that big chunk just to be about, you know, even that kid. I think it was a cadet. I might be speaking out of turn there, but even just talking about his approval, you know, it's just very interesting, you know. I like what he did. Krista Perez, good night to you as well. Hi Ben, thanks for watching it here. Or hi, I'm Ben. Thanks for watching it here. Chrissy Perez, I just subscribed myself. Of course, you should be doing that. Hit that subscribe button, definitely. Quad, Golden Dome age. Yeah, it's about time for that Golden Dome. You know, my prediction is, you know, the U.S. is leaving NATO in a hot minute. I think that's about to happen. It's time to get that dome up and going. Might take a while, but, you know, something that needs to be done for protection. You know, if Israel has one, why doesn't the U.S.? I mean, let's not act like the U.S. didn't help finance that whole thing. Yeah, of course they did. See, from the looks of it, the U.S. has helped finance everything around the world. For better or for worse. It looks like they finance every single thing you could think of. So, yeah, it's about time they get a dome. Like, why wouldn't there be a dome? Right? So, very interesting stuff going on here. Well received. All the Democrats already walked out. That's for sure. You know, like I was saying during this whole thing, they could have easily just been like, hey, you know, we don't like you, but that's a good thing. Like, not to clap in regards to Laken Riley's family. Not to clap in regards to all these, the girl whose parent, like the parents whose kids passed away, the kid with the brain cancer. To not clap at all of these moments it's so unhinged to do. And that's the thing about a lot of the left. And I mean, these people are the core of the left. They don't realize how unhinged they look when they do these things. They think this is normal. Like, no, we're just going to sit here. Talking about a kid who has brain damage, who's getting this nice, you know, honor of being an agent, and they come and they give him a badge, and, you know, it's like, you're not going to clap for that? Really? Just because? It's insane. It's absolutely insane. You know? I'm glad that one guy got thrown out. I'm so happy that happened. Good. Get out. The guy probably wanted to leave anyway. So many of these people in office are so old. Probably just want to get home, get to bed, you know? I think he was making a point about DEI and the label of being a dictator. Yeah. Someone said, thanks, man. Absolutely. Bye-bye, NATO and UN. Yeah, I think so. I think that's what it's going to be. I think it's bye-bye, NATO for sure. I mean, just recently, all of the NATO countries took a picture with Zelensky in there. They're asking for issues. They're asking for serious issues, you know? And that should be a beacon to Canada, you know, to Trudeau, to the government there, to be like, oh, this is happening. Oh, well, the U.S. is actually my greatest ally, because I can't be beside the country that's not along with NATO and also have this whole thing going on. Man, I hope they become a state. I tell you what, man, I really, really hope that happens. You see the video where Joe talked about the blue roofs in Maui after, yeah, of course I saw that. Yeah, he mentioned it, you know. It was really quick. That was a while ago. And yeah, there's been a whole bunch of talk about that, you know. And then there's this, you know, hearsay of certain countries, you see people painting their roofs blue. And it's not like just random people, tinfoil Speedo type people. No, these are like actual construction companies who are like, oh god, time to paint it blue. So I don't know. I don't know about that. But it's one of those things where it's like, couldn't hurt. If they're saying that it's true and it actually works, it couldn't hurt. Paint this blue. All right. Put a nice blue strip of paint over my head. Why not? We paint our tinfoil blue and we put it on, maximum protection. Why not? They walked out, but it didn't show it on camera. What do you mean they walked out? Who walked out? Because I saw Elizabeth Warren there. I mean, I guess some people could have walked out, the younger ones and whatnot. I thought there would have been at least a clap for the poor innocent people. No claps for anybody. So sad. Showed their true colors. 100% Perez. Are they going to pull up? Are you going to pull up the Democrat response video? What response video? What response video are you talking about? Is there one on YouTube? Who said that? Child 7328. What video? The whole world needs to notice. Not clapping cause yet. The dichotomy, the not clapping cause. Yeah, definitely. I'm glad he has better security now. Golden Dome found. Bro, 10 euros quad. Thank you so much. Are those euros? Is that a euro sign? I don't even know. I don't even know anymore. Let's see. Backyard now being returned to the White House. She was caught trying to sell at a pawn shop. No. We just need a dang chance to fix our ish here in Canada, but we never get it. Oh man, you know what? I'm Ben. You know what? There's actually a few lawyers that are from Alberta that are going to DC, and they might be in DC today, and they're actually approaching DC to talk about statehood and what that would look like and what the US could offer them. And then they would act as a liaison and go to the I believe the premier is what they're called. Either way, her name's Danielle. They're gonna bring whatever offer they get from DC to her, and I think that's the way. I think that's the smartest thing to do, and I'm surprised Trump hasn't done it. Just approach all that Ukraine money. I said it before. I said it in the video today. All that Ukraine money, money that could have went to Ukraine, all of that, offer that to Alberta. Alberta goes. That's the oil. Saskatchewan, they'll be soon to follow. Those 3 middle provinces, they go, the country can't sustain. It needs them so much. On top of that, those provinces, there's not even a real border there. It's just a huge forest. It's a huge dividing line of forest. That's it. So it's not even like anything would have to be torn down in order for it to even look proper, right? And then from there, boom, you put up the protections, same type of protections that Ukraine would have got. Put it right alongside both sides to protect from the opposing provinces, and you're good to go. But then the rest of Canada follows. And then all of the politicians get fired. All of the Canadian politicians get fired like it's USAID. Let's see what this is.
New York City on 9/11 when the Twin Towers came down. Before the smoke cleared, I knew I wanted to make a life in national security. I was recruited by the CIA and did 3 tours in Iraq alongside the military. In between, I worked at the White House under President Bush and President Obama, 2 very different leaders who both believed that America is exceptional. You can find that same
Damn, I muted myself. No, it wasn't the haters. It was me. Just too tired. Yeah, I muted myself. My bad. I was just reading. I was like, yeah, all those provinces. PEI, Halifax, or is it Nova Scotia? I forget which is the capital, which is the province. But those ones, Ontario, Alberta, I think there's something in between Alberta and Ontario. Maybe that's Manitoba, Saskatchewan. All of them should just be their own states. 100%. 100%. And I know about PEI because the wife, she actually has an ancestor from PEI. And the ancestor is so well known that they have like a statue or some kind of tribute to them in the center of some town. So the wife is like Mayflower slavery white, you know, just super white. But, you know, we still get along. We still get along. Sometimes she tries to tell me what to do a little too forcefully, but but we still get along. Yeah, promising. I witnessed MK bare minimum 6. Guys had a cowboy hard hat. I've never seen a cowboy hard hat in my life. Basically just turn each province into a state. That's what should happen, and they should be approaching each province with an offer. I'm telling you, out of all the provinces, there's at least two that would accept the offer, because the offer would be incredible, and the leadership that they offer as well, outstanding. Yeah, play it. It's right after. Whoa, is it this? Is it this lady? This response you're talking about, Chad? Your O's. Least I can do, coach. Of course, Alberta does that. That's really cool. Alberta knows that you're bargaining chips because they even have a lot more deeper oil to tap. Of course. It's crazy how much oil Alberta has. I had a buddy that went and worked on the, I guess they're called oil sands. I don't know. He was like a chef out there. My buddy Guidon, rest in peace. Good buddy of mine. But he went out there and he said it was crazy. And it's just nonstop work. It's that was like 10, 15 years ago I'm talking about. It's nonstop work out there. Someone say mic check. Mic check now? No, my mic must be good now. Lost audio, muted. Yes, I got it. Whenever you post muted segments, I'm just gonna clip them and do bad lip reads. Do it. You have to do it. I'm down. Oh, JVL or JVL. Thank you so much. You have no idea how much that means. Really, really appreciate it. You didn't pay your sound bill, coach. I'm in the shadow realm on one channel, so wouldn't be surprised, you know? They don't like when you bring up certain things. I watched my view count on my primary channel go from it's like 4 million a month, and it just went boom, 750,000. I was like, oh, I must have said something bad. And that's all you can do. You're just like, I don't know what I said. I don't know what I did. And they're not going to tell you. So I'm just stuck with it. Whatever. You do what you can. Yeah. There's other YouTubers that do way worse stuff than I do. They say worse stuff. They swear more. You know? Hey, I think he's trolling us now. Why? Do I still have no sound? No, I still have sound. I'm good. You were muted for like a good 3 minutes. No. What are you talking about? Whatever. You've got a better memory than me, coach. I might be drunk and high allegedly, but I know that. Mute or no mute? Yeah, I was talking about the response, which is also muted. Yeah, this is muted. I'm definitely muting. Like, what is the response? What do you mean? She's responding to Trump's speech?
Or when elected leaders stand by and just let it happen. But it's also at risk when the president pits Americans against each other, when he demonizes those who are different and tells certain people they shouldn't be included. Because America is not just a patch of land between two oceans. We are more than that. Generations have fought and died to secure the fundamental rights that define us. Those rights and the fight for them make us who we are. We're a nation of strivers, risk takers, innovators, and we are never satisfied. That is America's superpower. And look, I've lived and worked in many countries. I've seen democracies flicker out. I've seen what life is like when a government is rigged. You can't open a business without paying off a corrupt official. You can't criticize the guys in charge without getting a knock at the door in the middle of the night. So as much as we need to make our government more responsive to our lives today, don't for one moment fool yourself that democracy isn't precious and worth saving. But how do we actually do that? I know a lot of you have been asking that question. First, don't tune out. It's easy to be exhausted, but America needs you now more than ever. If previous generations had not fought for this
Bro, I don't even know what she's talking about. I mean, it's like they live in a different world, man. Like, oh, democracy. Oh, they're pitting Americans against each other. Like, get out of here. When the Democrats didn't clap for anything you just saw, it's because they chose that. It's not Trump that's dividing them. It's them choosing to be that way. You could easily be a Democrat. You could easily be a person in that room and say, I'm not going to clap for the things that he contributes to himself, but I'm going to clap to the good things that a good-hearted person would clap for. And you could do the same thing throughout government. You could do the same thing throughout your life. The people who are choosing not to do that, you can't blame Trump for that. That's on you. You decide that. You decide when you're going to divide from people. It's not somebody appears and now you're like, oh, I have to be divided from you, and it's his fault. No, no, no. That's your fault when you choose to do things like that. You don't have to do that. Like I was talking about in another video. I do so many videos. I don't even know when they were or what. But I was talking in a video about one of my friends who's like really, he's on like Ukraine's side, and he was showing me videos from Ukraine, and he's into like war and technique and strategy and all this stuff. So he's showing me all the strategic things Ukraine has done and tanks and this and that. And he's showing me all this stuff, and it's like, we still get along, you know? This guy just invited me to his bachelor party. It's up to you if you want to divide from people, you know? And thankfully, he hasn't done that with me. He knows everything I do. He knows about this channel and everything. But I don't divide from him. And what are we going to do? We're going to blame Trump? You're going to blame Trump when that happens? That's you doing that. You don't get to blame these politicians when you decide to do something. That's crazy. That means you give them ultimate power over your life. Like, them not clapping is them showing Trump how much power he has over them. If you're seeing a kid who had brain cancer, who was supposed to only live for some odd days and lived for years, and has a wish to be a police officer, and is now becoming a secret service agent, like an honorary one, and you don't clap, that's because of you. That's because you suck. You suck if you're doing that. It's not Trump. Trump doesn't suck because you don't want to clap when he says something. It's ridiculous. So all this talk, I mean, this is why I don't want to hear this rebuttal. Because it's going to be this lady talking about democracy, this and that, and people being pitted against you. It's crazy. And since when does some random Democrat get to make a response to the President of the United States? That's an essence, and I can't even believe I guess this is like live from now. I don't know if it's Fox or what, but that's propaganda at its finest. The president says something. You can unify over the president's message, and they're like, and here's something else for you. That's a dividing tactic right there. That's them using a dividing tactic. Oh, well, you know, I know you heard what the president said, but we don't want you to listen to that. We're going to provide you with another thing to listen to. Here it is. What? That's a dividing tactic. You could just leave them with, that's what the president said. You can take the good from it. You can take the bad from it. But instead, no. Let's have one of our people now speak some things and call him out for things he said. Dude, it's getting retarded. Okay? Asmund Gold says it. Why can't I say it? Why do I get penalized for saying it? And he's fine when he says it. It's getting retarded. It's too much. It's just too much. So tired of this nonsense. He's your president. That's it. It's sorry. That's the way it is. He's your president. It's 4 years, and you'll see who else comes up after that. You're going to make yourself a worse person because of who's in office and then blame that person? It's so nonsensical. It's so nonsensical. When you wear your Texas hoodie, make sure to put those horns upside down, boomer sooner. I can't do anything about the horns when I wear the hoodie. What am I supposed to do? Can't turn the hoodie upside down. I have a lot of Texas hoodies. I don't like when she looks like Chrystia Freeland with my blurry vision, but I'm glad as heck she doesn't talk like her. We will boost your main channel with an anti-Trump video just as an experiment. I should. I've actually written titles that it was a video about Trump telling a story, a UFC fighter telling Joe Rogan a story about Trump, and the way that I wrote it, it could be conceived as negative, and the video did really well. I mean, it's a thing. It's a thing. People say I should like contact YouTube support and tell them to review the channel, but it's like, I don't want to do that. And then they're gonna be like, "What are tinfoil Speedos?" I'm gonna be like, "Oh God, I gotta explain what a tinfoil Speedo is to some guy, you know." He's gonna be like, "Can you tell me tinfoil Speedos? Is this And then I gotta explain. It's ridiculous doing that. Or maybe not. Or maybe they just take everything away from you. I don't know. Yeah, bunch of bullish. Oh no, she used the democracy. Yeah, they're brainwashed. Me, little girl, is 4th grade and asked me why these girls always holding hands. School's something else, man. My buddy, I want him on the podcast. I want him in the podcast, but I want him in person. We always talk. He's one of my best friends. When I'm gonna go, eventually I have to go to the East Coast. I have to go to New York eventually. When I'm close, because he's in Canada. When I'm closer, I'm gonna try and get him because he's the best. And he has some stories about school. Oh God. Because he has a little girl too. The things that he could tell you about school and what they do. Man, some dude came. It was his landlord. He has a good relationship with his landlord, but the landlord shows up and says, "Oh, I'll take the girl. I'll take her." And he's like picking up another girl that's like his granddaughter. And they just gave my buddy's little girl. And they saw nothing wrong with it. And then he showed up and he raised hell. He raised hell. It was crazy. Oh my gosh, you couldn't imagine, man. Anyway, absolutely, man, it's not human. I think he wanted to expose that. Imagine not clapping when so much positivity is said. My little girl. Yeah, I got that. Joe Biden killed the chickens and drove up the price. I saw Joe Biden. He was eating chickens, eating them raw. That's why his brain is the way that it is today. You wouldn't believe how many chickens I saw him eat. It was absolutely crazy. Eating chickens by the handful. I mean, these weren't nuggets. These were full chickens. Biting the heads off. I mean, this is a crazy guy. Does anyone know what Al Green's beef was with small business numbers? Al Green, who knows? I'd never even heard of Al Green until this year. I gotta be honest with you. The guy's already walking with a cane. Some of these guys just need to retire. So glad Trump won. Was about to homeschooler. I'm homeschooling. You know, I'm living like we're doing everything we can to homeschool because I cannot. I don't trust it. I don't trust it because it's not just about who wins and what the schools have to do. It's about the teachers, man. Some teachers have weird notions of what they should be allowed to do and say. They got weird notions. They really think that they should be able to do and say some very odd things, very activist like things. Tinfoil Speedo is a tentative dip into a conspiracy pool. Real easy, guys. About time you went live. Man, I've been working on things. I'm trying to work things out. I'm trying to move things around. You know, yeah, I'm trying to work everything out. So it's hard. It's just me doing this now, you know? So I got to figure it out. Get Sam Tripoli on the podcast. I should. I've had a meeting with a guy, my buddy, and, well, it was just like we just hung out, and he was talking about how he knew Sam Tripoli and how he'd worked with him before and how he's a really nice guy and how I should reach out to him. I'm just too nervous to reach out to people like that, you know? Like, I'm going to reach out to see, like, he follows me on X, and we've talked before on Instagram, and I have a friend who actually toured with him a little bit, but I feel weird reaching out to people, you know? Like, somebody was like, oh, you know, Joe Rogan works out at this jiu-jitsu place. I'm like, okay, I'm going to stay away from it then. I don't want to bump into Joe Rogan. This is for the sake of meeting him. Are you crazy? I don't want to be so scared. What if he just punches me in the face? Stop using my clips. What was everyone's favorite highlight from the speech? My favorite highlight had to be when the guy got thrown out, but also when Trump highlighted all these positive moments with other people. I was surprised about that. You know, a lot of positive moments. And I mean, you know, sad moments as well with, you know, the ladies who passed away and everything. Yeah, that's sad too, but weird. That's YouTube for you. Love-hate relationship, especially selective shadow clamming. Yeah, man. They do weird stuff. They do weird stuff. I'll say that. And it sucks because I actually love YouTube, the platform. I actually love it. I love it. Everything that I know from health all the way to this, all this going live, audio, video, everything. I know because of YouTube, exercise, everything. I love the platform. I love it. Absolutely love it. You know, when I talk about getting through dark times listening to podcasts, it wasn't just the podcast. It was also YouTube having the podcast. I love YouTube, but I don't know, man. They don't know me, you know? They don't know me. They don't care. It's an interesting thing. Like, I don't even post on other platforms because I like it so much. But, you know, people keep telling me I should. So, I don't know. Trump said the Dems. When Trump said the Dems said it was legislation needed to be fixed, fix the border problem, but Trump said all they needed was a new president. That was a solid highlight too. That was a good soundbite. He did that good. That was really good, actually. I gotta say, you're right. 100%. Jake goes Beast. Beast V. I bet he'd do it for sure. Oh my God, I caught a live. Dub. We've been live for like 3 hours now. That guy acted like a limp cat when he was told to leave. The little Secret Service, man, I love it. Yeah, that was a great part. I hear you, man. I gear up when the same time you did. How it changed over time. Hopefully Musk will buy it. Imagine Musk bought YouTube. Buddy, Musk buys YouTube. I get 10 million subscribers in like 90 days. I bet money. Easy. It'd be real easy. Because there's a switch. There's a switch. They switch it on and off. You know, I can't talk about it much, but there's some kind of switch. Damn it. I hate it notifies me. It never notifies me. You got a Discord that would notify? I got to work on that, man. I'm thinking of Telegram. I'm thinking of Discord. I gotta I gotta figure that out. You know, because that would be the key thing, especially just in case anything happens with the channels. Having a Discord or a Telegram would be really smart. I want to lean towards Telegram just because I want to play around with it and see what it's like. But Discord, I know Discord in and out, so probably just go with Discord, honestly. Plus, I'm used to the way Discord looks, and I could have that like up on the screen. I need help. I need people alongside me who actually can like help me do things. But let's look on Twitter. I want to see the Twitter updates of everything going on. My notifications. Let's see here. Oh, Quad, man, thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing this, man. 100 proof. Well, I want to see people's reactions to Trump's speech, though. Where's that at? Let's see that. Actually, let's just see the feed first. Oh, that's Jackson. That's Jasmine Crockett. That's what she was doing. Are you for real? Is this real?
But you can't fake influence. Oh no! It's a cultural divide. I'm gonna get it on the flow.
Oh my God. No, I'm not listening to that. Jasmine Crockett. So ridiculous. Yeah, this is what they were doing when that kid was doing the whole thing. That was their reaction. It's crazy that you would do that. Crazy. I can't show that. Oh, man. Come on. That's not what those signs said. That's rude. That's rude. That's not what those signs said. Oh, what's going on with this little guy?
But you want to know the craziest part? Because my mom bathes me and my brothers all together. And out of nowhere, I locked up. And then my dad was calling my name. And I started going to the slow thing. And he said, stop playing with me. And I then I started to act, I ain't gonna lie, I started to act slow. And then as soon as he said that, we were speeding all the way, running lights, going to the hospital. And then next thing you know, I was seizing on the table. They said, nah, we're gonna have to go in his brain tonight. Ever since then, I had 13 brain surgeries. And that's how many times my personality has changed. And that's something that you don't hear from a terminally ill child. They had 5 months to live. I'm gonna keep on going until my gas tanks run out. And that's when God calls you home. You never know when God's gonna call you home. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for my dad. I know he's pretty proud of me, and I'm pretty proud of him too. And I'd like to thank President Trump, because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here today. But you wanna know
Man, that is something. I can't even stay on that too long. I'll get teary-eyed. Oh, no. This guy, he got thrown out. I can't even go through my feed properly. There's too many. Let's see here. What do they have to say?
That you let yourself feel. But I think this was a lesson in finding one thing that you let yourself feel. And I let myself feel joy about DJ. And I hope he's alive for another, 95 years, right? And I hope he lives and the life he wants to live. He wants to be a cop. He knows what he wants to do. And maybe when you have childhood cancer, that crystallizes for you. And I hope he has a long life as a law enforcement officer. But I hope he never has to defend the United States Capitol against Donald Trump supporters. And if he does, I hope he isn't one of the 6 who loses his life to suicide. And I hope he isn't one who has to testify against the people who carried out acts of seditious.
Wow, disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Absolutely disgusting, especially after just seeing the kid talk, and then that's what she says. Holy, I thought it was gonna be, I was like, wow, finally someone with some sense on the left. Wow. And then she goes into Donald Trump rhetoric. Wow. Oh, man. Well, that's where we're at. Man. She could have cut it off right there and just been a great lady, and she just had to keep going. And she's trying to bring it back to January 6th. Good God. Share that dog pile. Oh my God. That's the lady? This is what you guys were talking about, the rebuttal. Get
Your bank accounts. While we're on the subject of Elon Musk, Is there anyone in America who is comfortable with him and his gang of 20-year-olds using their own computer server?
This is what you wanted me to play? Get out of here. I'm so tired of this narrative. 20-year-olds, 19-year-olds. There's one person who's 19, and the guy's a genius, and he works for the State Department now. Get out of here. Like, what are we talking about? This is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. That's what I mean. Like, why on earth is there a rebuttal being played to the president's speech? Why? Why is there a rebuttal to the president's speech? You notice when Biden gave that speech, there was no rebuttal to it. You know that, right? Just putting it out there. There was no type of rebuttal. Man. Yeah, this is when this dude got kicked out. Look at J.D. Vance.
Finding that members continue to engage in willful and concerted disruption of proper decorum, the chair now directs the sergeant-at-arms to restore order. Remove this gentleman from the chamber.
Get out. Slick backed hair. Looks like Steven Seagal in his worst movie ever, you know? Okay, let's actually, because my feed is just not safe. My feed is just not a safe space. Let's just see. Let's just go to the trending. Dems, Democrats, America's back. Why wouldn't you just have Trump's speech trending? I just wanted to see people's reactions to it. But you know what? Honestly, let me just see here. Yeah, that's the most disgusting thing. I'm going to probably do a separate video on that altogether. Just gross. Or maybe I'll just cut up this live. Is that Nancy Pelosi? What's she doing? Oh, that's just what she's doing? Just retire, man. You almost got your $250 million from the American people. Just retire. Why do some of these people just plague us with themselves? You know? That's enough. We're good.
Nobody who was 150 years old or 200 years old or 300 years old is receiving Social Security checks.
Okay, well, because he said that, now I think they are. Right? And obviously there's no people that age. It's about fraud. Why is everybody acting like it's about if those people exist? It's about fraud. If it's citizen fraud, it needs to be dealt with. If it's some weird pot of money that just money keeps going to all these different ages and nobody knows about it, then you have to know where that money goes and who's responsible for it. Why does everybody keep acting like it's so ridiculous? Bernie Sanders. Mush mouth.
Trump, I think, gave a great speech, outlined a lot of his victories already and his vision. I have to say, though, that had to be so embarrassing for the Democrats. They wouldn't stand for President Trump ever, but they wouldn't even stand for the family of Laken Riley. They wouldn't stand for young DJ who wanted to be a law enforcement officer and beat cancer. Grow up. Like, grow up. So America's going to prosper under President Trump, and the Democrats can get on board or not get on board, but Republicans are going to... All right, just left the...
Yep. That sums it up. Grow up, seriously. Man, it's ridiculous. Anyway, let's see what's going on here with you guys. Because for some reason, I usually have this chat screen beside me. Now I don't have it, so I actually have to go to another window. It's ridiculous. Twitter's a risky scroll, right? It's risky being on Twitter, man. You gotta just you gotta go real slow. You gotta go real slow and be like, okay, let's just make sure. You know, it's a tightrope. That's what it is. I like Discord. Disrespectful non-clapping. Those signs. Yeah, those signs, man. That's not what those signs said. They should have said that, but they didn't. I will help you out at some point. Hey, man, I'd appreciate it. Seizures are no good at all. Whoa, he's a strong man. Yeah, that kid is something else, man. When you see the young kids getting through stuff like that, it's it's great. That was extremely dark. Yeah, for her to do that, that was very dark, very shameful. 100%. 100%. Buy pimp and get that hairline fixed. Oh, someone got kicked out? Oh yeah, Al Green got kicked out. Dub, man. You got to go see it. He got booted. I was so happy. He got kicked out. Good. That's what he needed. Let's see here. Yeah, you scroll Twitter. I'm like, is that safe? Yeah, I don't know if it's safe. I don't know if it's safe, man. I did my best, you know? But anyways, guys, I got to get going. We're at 3 hours, 11 minutes. I thought I was just going to go for 2 hours. I didn't realize the speech would be so long, but I do have to get out of here. Maybe I'll keep this live up. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll cut it into something. Maybe I won't. I gotta see what my options are here. But thank you guys so much for coming out. I really do appreciate it. I'm gonna do another live. I gotta do a live and just like chill and talk with you guys. For my own sanity, I think. But I gotta go because after seeing all those stories with all those parents who lost their kids, all I want to do is see my kid right now, 100%. So, like, subscribe, turn on the notifications. Thanks so much for being here. I am